not a rivalry. Doesn't mean that.
Complete coverage of the NFL with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.
1410 WING-AM.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
We are Dayton's ESPN radio station. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Welcome in. I hope everybody had a great day at work. Buckle up. We got a jam-packed 3-hour show coming your way. We're going to open up right now with Browns and Steelers talk, and I'm curious, Browns fans, like this is the biggest Browns-Steelers matchup that I can remember in quite some time. Like I felt like last year heading into the first Steelers matchup that with the Browns, it was a situation where they didn't have the start to the season that they were anticipating, but they knew if they can get past the Steelers that they were at the halfway point last season. They had the easiest strength of schedule to close out the back half of the season last year. Well, the Browns, in typical Browns fashion, get the Browns win, but of course they get the big loss. They lose Myles Garrett for the last part of the season. They end up not making the playoffs. They totally, fell short of all expectations coming in. And then, of course, Myles Garrett, lost the rest of the season, and the Browns, lost the rest of their games. I mean, pretty much they lost the Steelers the next time with Duck Hodges at quarterback. But this is an interesting conversation to have at this point. Here is a quote from Mike Tomlin heading into this matchup coming up this weekend. Mike Tomlin says that we love being in the kitchen. The kitchen. Mike Tomlin goes on to say that the AFC North ball is in the kitchen. It's hot in the North right now. Now, there are two different ways that you could perceive that if you are a Browns fan. You could be petty like me and take that and spin it. And spin it, put it in hyperdrive. Do what you got to spin the hell out of it. All right, put it in the spin cycle. I'm not dumb, and I don't think Mike Tomlin's dumb either. I think he knew damn well what he was doing when he happened to use the phrase kitchen. Now, let's be clear here. Like, I've never heard Mike Tomlin say, oh, man, it's like a kitchen in the AFC North. You know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to mix stuff. That was a shot at the Browns. Let's be clear. That's a shot at Freddie Kitchens, which I don't care about Freddie Kitchens, by the way. I'm glad he's gone. But we all know that last year when that whole thing went down, you had Freddie Kitchens and you had Mike Tomlin both defending their teams to the media afterwards, both making jabs at one another. Some even going on radio shows later on that week and making it clear how both felt about the other team's player. And as the usual, coaches have to defend their guys, which I'm fine with. But let's not act like that's, here's the deal with the Steelers. The Steelers live in a world where they have how many Super Bowls? They are expected to win the division every year. They're expected to make the playoffs every year. And then here comes the ugly duckling, the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, the Super Bowl. The Browns have a lot in common with me and you. They always watch the Super Bowl. All right, they don't play in Super Bowls. They don't even get to the playoffs half the time. I mean, last year they underachieved. They did not make the playoffs. They're supposed to make the playoffs. They're 4-1. But how about this stat for this game with the Steelers coming up this weekend? The Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are undefeated at 4-0. The Browns are 4-1. The Steelers are undefeated, as I mentioned. The Browns 4-1. It is the second best combined win percentage of any game involving the Browns in NFL history. How about in NFL history? This is the biggest game that the Cleveland Browns have played in quite some time, because last year beating the Steelers, it was really just going to be even if you did get the win, it would be more along the lines of like a moral victory. Let's be clear. I mean, a legit victory, but a moral victory. No one really anticipated the Browns going on a run in the second half. They had already proved that the coaching was too much for Baker Mayfield to overcome. The offensive line was too much for Baker Mayfield to overcome. OBJ was dropping balls left and right. The receivers led the National Football League and dropped catches all season. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess a season ago. Fast forward to the offseason, fast forward to now, you have Kevin Stefanski, an actual grown adult, an actual man who has control of everything that's going on with the Cleveland Browns right now. They look like a real football team. They have deficiencies pretty much like every team. Kevin and I are going to give our top 5, bottom 5 here in a moment. And I'm not even the top 5, even the Kansas City Chiefs, who I'm sure are both in our list. They have shown some flaws over the last couple of weeks. I mean, every team has flaws. So I love whenever you bring up your favorite team, people right away try to bring up the parts about the team that are bad. There's no such thing as a perfect football team, at least not in 2020. We thought that the Ravens would be pretty close with the offensive firepower they have, and of course, complementing it with the defense and what they did in the offseason. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, reigning defending Super Bowl champions, expecting them to go 16-0, expecting them to repeat as Super Bowl champions. All of a sudden, they've looked a little weaker over the last couple of weeks, especially after losing to the Raiders this past weekend. But my big question is this, is I know the Steelers are used to living up to a certain expectation. All right. They didn't make the playoffs last year, and I'm going to give 110% credit to the fact that Big Ben did not play. I'm not dumb. Back-to-back years did not make the playoffs. But Big Ben, I mean, last year Pittsburgh goes 8-8. They make the playoffs with Big Ben as their quarterback last year. 8-8 without Big Ben, and everyone knows, even Steelers fans, Kev will tell you, the quarterback play for the Steelers last year was absolutely atrocious, and somehow they found themselves at 500 by the end of the year.
Goodness.
This is strange to me because, look, I know that the Browns opened up with the Ravens in week 1, and it felt like a big game, but I hated that the Browns had opened up with the Ravens in week 1, and you saw why. And then there was the Bengals game a couple weeks later, and I'm like, well, this feels cool, Joe Burrow versus Baker Mayfield, but that's kind of where it stopped for me. I mean, maybe it's because the Bengals are garbage, and maybe that's because they weren't actually playing for anything. But it was one of those where, the Browns definitely, I wanted them to get the win over the Bengals because I didn't want to have to personally deal with Bengals fans on the show, having to hear it from them every single day. But moving forward, I'm like, who are the Browns' divisional rivals? Because, you feel like the Ravens are your rival, and they are, and the Bengals are your rival because they're a division foe, and the same thing with this. But the only matchup every year that even when the Browns have no wins, even when the Browns are out of the playoff picture, and even when the Browns right now at 4-1, the only opponent that I could think of that when it is the week of that particular game and that particular matchup, the only opponent that honestly brings this kind of buzz and feel to a big game feel, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Ravens, yes, and that's what's crazy about it, is the Ravens are the face of the AFC North right now. They have the reigning MVP quarterback in Lamar Jackson. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They have one of the best offenses in the NFL. The Ravens are legit. Mm-hmm. The Ravens are legit. That's their division. The Steelers, we're still trying to figure out who they are, but yet this game feels like the biggest game in the AFC North this season, and it doesn't involve the team that has dominated the AFC North the last couple of seasons in the Baltimore Ravens. So the big thing, I have a question for you Browns fans, is the Steelers. That's the Browns' biggest rival. I think everyone will agree. But Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What about the Browns? Because you could talk it up all you want. You could say that, it's just the Browns. 0-16 a few years ago. I mean, I don't even want to get into what the Steelers' record is over the last 20 years against the Cleveland Browns because it's embarrassing. I mean, that's why last year, whenever the Browns finally got the win over the Steelers, I was like, that's pretty cool. That was a big deal. But, of course, the narrative afterwards was only about Myles Garrett swinging the helmet at the quarterback, not Big Ben, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's really one of those where I know that the Cleveland Browns look at Pittsburgh as the team that they have to beat. They're circling the Steelers. Whether the Browns are expected to go 0-16 or 16-0 or 12-4 or 13-3, the Steelers are who they are circling on that schedule. But what about the Steelers? Because you can act like the Browns are just the Browns, and Mike Tomlin goes to the media and says, look, we're just trying to go undefeated. We're not looking for that low-hanging fruit or that reality TV storyline and so forth. This is a big game here in 2020. And that's your typical coach's response. All right. I don't believe him. I believe that, Tomlin, and one of the best coaches in football, never doubt that, but I also know he's petty as hell. This is a coach who tried to trip someone running up the sideline a few years ago. I will never forget that, and how we forget about that and how we still don't bring that up every opportunity we get is absolutely beyond me. But nonetheless, here we are, and here I am bringing it up. But Mike Tomlin could say the right things. He can do the coaches speak all he wants. But then when you go on to say, we love being in the kitchen, I'm sorry, that's a weird phrase, and I think I have an idea what he's referencing. I think it's a jab at the Browns. So to me, the pettiness of Mike Tomlin, the pettiness of the Steelers, you can act like, you're on your high horse, you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, but trust me, the Browns have your attention, and this week is the biggest game of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns, because either way, one of these two teams we are officially going to put on the map after this weekend, and it's crazy because the Browns definitely will get the rub off the Steelers, but I think the Steelers, they really want to put down the Browns because they don't want to admit that they would get a rub by beating the Cleveland Browns coming up this weekend.
For me, this goes back a long ways. People always ask me, how can you be from Cleveland and be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan? I'll tell everybody real quick. My mom is a Steelers fan, and she's Cleveland. She's born and raised in Cleveland. My big brother is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So we're Steelers fans. But my grandmother, Browns fan. My pops, Browns fan. My wife, Browns fan. My in-laws, Browns fan. So this is truly a family divided situation. I remember the days of, you talk about how, like, man, the Steelers over the last 20 years been dominating the Browns and everything like that. After the Super Bowl run the Steelers had in the 70s, there's this decade called the 80s. And the Steelers sucked in the 80s. And that's when I was born in the 80s. So the older listeners will know about the Cardiac Kids, that version of the Browns with Brian Sipe at quarterback. Then after Brian Sipe, they had Bernie Kosar from Youngstown, Ohio, and they were headed for the Super Bowl, ran into John Elway. But that team was loaded. I'm talking about Kevin Mack. I'm talking about Webster Slaughter. I'm talking about that team was loaded. And to have to basically be an outcast because I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and we were getting blown out by the Browns. Like, we talk about like how the Steelers are been dominating them. It was vice versa back in those days. And then the 90s came and then it switched over. And then unfortunately the Cleveland Browns were taken away from the city. And now the return of the Browns, and it's been a bludgeoning ever since. But this game on Sunday, this is the biggest Steelers Browns game in decades. I remember they played in the preseason one time. I went to a preseason game, Steelers and Browns. It was a fight in the stands at a preseason game. I'm like 10 years old. It is crazy, man. I'm so upset that fans can't attend these games. There's not going to be fans in the stands in Pittsburgh in the first matchup, but
that's another reason Browns are better. You can go to games in Cleveland.
Like, I'm so upset. Like, same way we were talking about it's too bad that, the Reds made the playoffs and the fans can't go to the games to enjoy it. That really sucks. And this sucks as well, man, for both fan bases involved. The Browns are finally good again and they can't pack the stadium. They can't go on the road to Pittsburgh and rouse the fans if they come away with a win. So I really feel bad for the fans. But back to the actual game itself, I'm ready for it, man. You talk about this all the time when it's talking about the Buckeyes. You want to have those butterflies in your stomach when they go up into a matchup, but you don't get them until they make it to the college football playoff. You just don't get that feeling. And I really don't get that feeling when the Steelers play the Browns. I got them this week because they're ready. The Browns are here. The Browns are awake. And I guarantee every true Pittsburgh Steelers fan feels the exact same way I do. They're not taking it for granted because if they've been around long enough, they remember when the Browns had the upper hand. And it's the same thing I always talk about with Ohio State and Michigan. I don't take those games for granted because I remember Tim Biakabatuka. I remember Brian.
You can't say Antetokounmpo.
I remember Brian Sipe leading the Browns down the field for a victory versus my Pittsburgh Steelers. So I remember all that stuff. I am so amped for this game. I talked to my dad earlier today, and he said something that rung out to me. Is like, yo, this Sunday at 1 o'clock will be a perfect time to rob a bank because nobody's going to be outside the house. Everybody's going to be in the house watching this game. Like, you can't really go to the bars like that. Can't really do this. Can't really do that. The city of Cleveland is going to be shut down for this game. It's one to watch, man. It's definitely one to watch.
All right, 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. So we're going to step away for a few moments, and we're going to load up the phone lines. We're going to hear from Browns fans. We want to hear from Steelers fans. We're also live on Facebook. Go to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. You can watch the show that way. Listen, stream, and now watch. I'm interested in people's thoughts on this. I'm already hearing from guys on Facebook that are saying right now that this is not, that this is not the biggest game of the season. It's just the biggest game right now. No, it is the biggest game of the season. It's a tone setter for the rest of the season because if the Browns beat the Steelers, that confidence is going to take them the rest of the way. If they lose, you're going to have that thought in the back of your head of, oh man, we're still the same old Browns. We technically haven't beaten anybody. The Steelers will be that somebody coming up. So I disagree. This is the biggest game of the season. If you're the Browns, and yes, even if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll be back in a moment. 457-9464. I see calls coming in. We'll get you guys next when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear with a high near 73. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low around 55. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with showers likely, a high near 65. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Making it easier for you to get the frickin' chicken. Remember Frickers.com. That puts you in touch with everything you crave. Frickin' chicken wings, burgers, ribs, salads, wraps, everything you crave. Should you crave an ice-cold domestic draft beer? Join us and dine in. We have a 48-ounce personal pitcher for only $6. Dine in, carry out, delivery, and now order online at Frickers.com. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is the home to order online at Frickers.com.
Ohio, wake up to what our lawmakers are up to. Bribery indictment of the former House Speaker, the majority cutting funds for schools and healthcare during the pandemic, huge tax breaks for millionaires while ignoring medical experts, and how COVID-19 impacts our jobs, health, schools, and local businesses. It's time for a change. I will fight for hardworking families. My name is Erin Rosiello, candidate for State House District 62 in Warren County, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Erin Rosiello, at your service.
Fall is in the air. Fall projects are on the list, and the Home Depot is ready with more ways than ever to help. Use our mobile app to search, shop, and save. Choose flexible delivery options that bring everything you need right to your door. And if you need tools for a project, but not forever, you can rent them. You won't find a better toolbox anywhere else. Take on fall and fall projects now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
O'Reilly. This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What's hot for business this week at Staples?
Small prices, big savings.
Get ready to go big this holiday season with everything your business needs at amazing prices.
From shipping supplies and services to custom signs and PPE supplies.
And right now at Staples, save up to 30% on all shipping supplies with 12-pack mailers as low as $7.
Shop in-store or pick up curbside.
Save big for your business this week at Staples.
Ends 12/26 while supplies last. In-store only. Curbside available in most stores.
O'Reilly. It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Superstart battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We saved serious cash with our Progressive Home and Auto Bundle and used the money to buy a new boat.
Who's ready to water ski?
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big money with Progressive, but not enough for a new boat. They'll probably spend it on rent or gas money or maybe one of those little plastic wading pools for the yard.
Ahoy there!
Is what the captain might say on the toy boat in your wading pool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. based on sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at Advanced Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Now, Audible gives you audiobooks, podcasts, Audible originals, and more, all in one place. Whether you want to dive into a series, listen to a popular bestseller, or check out the latest episode of a great new podcast, Audible has you covered. Enjoy genres you love, like motivation, mysteries, and sci-fi. Follow names you know in comedy or true crime podcasts, or discover the Audible exclusive everyone's talking about, The Sandman. And for a limited time, Prime members get $50 off their first year of Audible Premium Plus membership. Visit audible.com to get started.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing. We can help you with your wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time to replace them. We've got great deals on wipers that can stand up to any weather. Right now, you can get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy 2 Rain-X Quantum wiper blades. And with our next day delivery and free same-day store pickup, you can get them fast. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Follow ESPN 1410 Wing AM on Facebook to watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Listen, stream, and now watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
76-59-1. That is the record that the Pittsburgh Steelers have over the Cleveland Browns. And, of course, that tie coming 2 years ago. It was Baker's rookie year. In fact, Baker didn't even play in that game. Tyrod Taylor was the starting quarterback for that. Of course, the Browns would go on to lose the very next week against the Saints in overtime as well. Another missed kick, and the Browns had multiple opportunities in that tie against Pittsburgh to potentially start the season 1-0. But man, you fast forward all the way to this matchup. A lot's happened between that tie in 2018 and week 1 of the 2018 season to now, and everything in between, including the Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph fiasco, the swinging of the helmet to the exposed head of Mason Rudolph. Myles Garrett after the game saying that a racial slur was used and that there's no indication out there that was actually the case. You have Mike Tomlin who's come out and adamantly defended his guys and said, no, that never happened. So it's just a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of animosity between these two teams. It's not just because they're in the same division. They truly dislike one another. And that's what makes this matchup coming up this weekend that much more exciting. The Browns looking for their 60th win in franchise history against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But you're right, going back and looking at some of the 80s matchup, there was that 59 to nothing win, that siphon the Browns had. So it's just like, and I think, unreal as far as that's concerned. So a lot has definitely changed since then. But this is a big one. So we're getting on Facebook that it is not the biggest of all time. I don't think we said it was the biggest of all time, did we? I think it says the biggest of the season. Because here's why. This is why it's the biggest of the season. Because David goes on to ask, well, what happens if later in the year they end up meeting for a division title? For one, the Ravens are winning the division title. I'm not taking that title away from the Ravens yet. There's nothing I've seen from the Ravens outside of losing to the Chiefs. And a lot of teams are going to lose to the Chiefs this year, okay? I'm not going to bump them off their throne because the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson as quarterback, even though his numbers haven't been as, stat popping as we've seen in years past, but it's still Lamar Jackson. He's still the MVP. It's still Baltimore. I'm going to roll with them as division champs, but I really think it's going to come down between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. But here's why it's huge for Pittsburgh, Kevin. You have the Browns this weekend. If Pittsburgh loses, okay, because here's who they've played to this point. They've beat up on the Giants. They've beat up on the Broncos, they've beat up on the Texans, and they've beat up on the Eagles. The Giants have no wins. All right. The Broncos have 1 win. The Texans have 1 win, and the Eagles have 1 win. So that's not that, you know what I mean? So that's not a good lineup of teams that they've played. Now, I'm not saying that the Browns lineup's any better, okay? Because a lot of these teams are beating up on the NFC East, so that's propping a lot of teams up. But you have the Browns this week. You lose to the Browns, you got the Titans and the Ravens the next 2 weeks. So after being 4-0, you lose to the Browns, and let's say you split with the Titans and Ravens, all of a sudden that record is just not as, it's still above 500, but all I'm saying is you don't want to lose to the Browns heading into, the next 2 matchups being against the Titans and the Ravens and the Cowboys all on the road. I know it is the Cowboys. I know their defense has been horrible, but anytime you're playing on the road, and there are fans starting to trickle into these stadiums now more and more, the home field advantage is going to be there. It's going to be there for the Titans. It's going to be there for the Ravens and Cowboys. Maybe not the Ravens, obviously, but bottom line is you don't want to lose this matchup if you're Pittsburgh. And if you're Cleveland, you're buying into your hype right now, but you're doing it in a more mature manner. But now you could truly buy into it. You will truly believe that you are one of the top teams in the National Football League. And that's the one thing that Cleveland really has to, we've seen them handle success well early. Because that's the other thing too. They didn't handle success well after year 1 with Baker. Baker won, seven games, and you would have thought that they went like 12-4, like I'm predicting them to go this year. You would have thought they were 12-4 and made the playoffs and nearly won a Super Bowl with how cocky they were that offseason. This year they're 4-1, and there's not a whole lot of chatter. After this Steelers matchup, you have the Bengals, it's a winnable game. The Raiders is a winnable game. The Texans is a winnable game. The Eagles is a winnable game. The Jaguars is a winnable game. I mean, that's the next 6 opponents. There's a lot of wins there. Yeah. The potential wins there if you're the Cleveland Browns. And imagine taking the momentum of beating the Steelers on the road with you through the next month and a half against those opponents. I tell you what, Cleveland, by the time we get to the halfway point, we could be looking back and saying, holy smokes, they've only lost 1 game. But again, it might be 2 games, depending on the result coming up on Saturday. Steelers still a 3.5-point favorite at home.
Yeah, going back to the teams that the Steelers have played, good thing this isn't college football because no one would respect their schedule. That's what we would be arguing. But this is the NFL's where wins are valuable. We talk about this 3-game stretch that the Pittsburgh Steelers are about to go on. Good thing they racked up those wins over those lesser teams because they could potentially lose 3 in a row. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you get games on your schedule that you're supposed to win, you need to win them. As far as going forward with the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is a gauntlet you're headed for. You talk about the number of wins that the teams that they have beaten don't really they have 2 wins combined. Well, these teams you're about to play, the Titans are undefeated. Browns are 4-1. Ravens are 4-1. These are big dogs
on the road. Yeah, now you're welcoming in Cleveland, but after that, you're hitting the road for some of those top teams. But 457-9464, that's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. We've opened up the line, so you'll be able to jump in as far as that's concerned. But yeah, this matchup with the Steelers this weekend is a big deal. You can argue it's a bigger deal for the Browns, but I think it's an even bigger deal for the Steelers because we're still trying to figure out just who the Pittsburgh Steelers are. You could say that about the Browns, but I think that the Browns, even if the Browns lose to the Steelers coming up, I still think there's more wiggle room for them to be able to succeed moving forward. You're 4-1 right now. You lose to the Steelers, you're 4-2. And then, like I said, you look at that schedule. If you're the Cleveland Browns, you're going to be, you have the Bengals, you have the Raiders, the Texans, the Eagles, the Jaguars. So this is a bigger game for Pittsburgh right now than it is for the Cleveland Browns, even though Cleveland, they're looking to get this huge win over a team that has just owned them for decades now. So there's a lot riding on both sides, but I think Cleveland can recover from a Pittsburgh loss here at this point of the season more than Pittsburgh can, because although they're 4-0, we're still questioning who they exactly are with that being said. Let's go to Riverside. We got Bob waiting on us. Bob in Riverside, welcome in, sir. How are you?
What's happening, Justin? A long time, man.
Holy moly. This is how you know it's football. I'm hearing from a lot of the old guests from last year. I tell you, it's good to have football season back.
Absolutely. Hey, kudos to the Browns. You know, I'm a big Bengal fan, but kudos to the Browns. They look good, man. They look good. I think that maturity, they certainly matured a lot, so that's good to see. And I think you finally got a coach, man. I think you finally got a real coach that can get the best out of this ball club. So that's awesome to see. So kudos to the Browns. Hey, one thing I do want to say, as far as the Bengals are concerned, hey, man, quit being so hard on my Bengals offensive line. They suck. We know they suck. but I will say this. Kudos to the organization for improving that defense. Because remember, the last few years we've been talking, you know, one of the things you always hit on was we had the worst defense in the history of mankind, which we did. So what did they do? The whole offseason, they put all the money into the defense, drafted some excellent linebackers. I was very encouraged, actually, the way the defense played against Baltimore. Lamar only got like 3 yards rushing when he hit about 200 himself every game last year against us. So kudos to that. It's just going to take a little bit of time. You can't get everything. You can't completely fix your whole team in 1 year. So they do have to work on that offensive line. But one thing Joe Burrow's got to do, too, he got to learn this is not college. When you're playing in the AFC North, you can't hold the ball for 10 seconds. You know somebody's going to hit you, and you got to get rid of the ball.
Hold up. Joe Burrow just texted me. He said to ask Bob, where the hell's this 10 seconds coming from? He would love to hold on to the ball for 10 seconds.
Okay, 3.5.
There we go. But your point's well taken. I know what you're saying. So, but Bob, let me say this. No, you're completely right, by the way, about them addressing the defense. But what I keep knocking the Bengals for is prioritizing. What were their priorities? Because you got your quarterback finally, but you did not prioritize your quarterback because you did not prioritize protecting him. I get it. I said this at the beginning of the season. I don't care if the Bengals had another year of the worst defense in the history of the league. I would rather them lose 45-40 because you protected, Joe Burrow and gave him time to throw and take advantage of the weapons that he has. I would rather them go 0-16, losing 45-40 every week, putting 40 points up on the board with the worst defense in the league, because then you could address the defense in the offseason. Now you kind of fine-tune their defense. You ignored the offensive line, and now you got to just hope that Joe Burrow can survive not just the rest of this season, but even have a career moving forward. It's that bad. He only threw the ball 30 times against the Ravens and got sacked 8 times. That can't happen.
Yeah, I agree. But I think a lot of that has to do with the Bengals they're delusional, first of all, about their offensive line. Well, they still keep running Bobby Hart out there. Okay, anybody that has a set of eyes can see that Bobby Hart can't play. And yet, the right guard situation, it's awful. They actually thought coming into this season that they had, Bobby Hart was still good. They keep saying that. They keep selling us on that. And the right guard situation, he went and got a backup from Dallas. So I think they're delusional. Hopefully, this will open their eyes and see that, maybe these guys aren't as good as what we thought they were going to be. They're backups at best. Billy Price, awful. Just absolutely. I believe that guy just has no heart.
Oh, wait.
He wasn't like that at Ohio State. He has no heart. So I think this will open up guys absolutely to see what they need to do, because you absolutely got to, protect your franchise quarterback. So I think Tobin and them, I think this coming off season is going to be big. And I think what you had mentioned earlier, I don't even look at wins for the Bengals. I just want to see improvement. I want to see the defense gets better and things like that. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to more than anything.
Absolutely. And you are right about the defense. I think the one thing that's disappointing, too, is, DJ Reader out. He was placed on the injured reserve this past Monday with a quad injury. He's going to miss the rest of 2020. That was one of their bigger free agent signings in the offseason. That was one of their biggest, ways to address that defense. So that is disappointing as far as that's concerned. What do you think about A.J. Green? How down are you on A.J. Green?
AJ's done, man.
I agree. And he's done, but I don't even think that's been a problem. I think if you start making a list of the problems for the Bengals, I don't even put that at the top, because I don't think they're AJ Green away from, being any different than what they are now. That O-line is that O-line, and it doesn't matter how good the receivers are. But you're right. I think AJ Green has shown zero burst or zero sense of who he used to be. It's unfortunate. I'm not mad at AJ Green. We shouldn't be ripping AJ Green. It's just it's an unfortunate ending, possible ending to a career that was so special in Cincinnati. I hate that they wasted his career, though.
I'll say this, though. One disappointment is A. Green didn't know the plays either. He shouldn't have to be asking Mike Thomas, who came over from the Rams, hey, what do I need to do on this play or that play? Mike Thomas admitted that A.J. Green is asking that. Now, You were team last year. Yeah, you were hurt the whole year. Attention the whole year that you come out because they're.
Real quick, Bob, if you could call back or we'll talk again soon. You were just cutting out there towards the end. I apologize about that, but it's great hearing from you. It's great hearing from some of the old guys that were calling during the football season last year. So it's always great, especially when we could do it in a nice way. Because I'm not that nice about the Bengals.
We know.
It's tough to come up with the list of, when we do that 3 and out every week, the 3 reasons why I believe the Bengals could win, you have no clue. I work harder at that than anything else I do, trying to come up with something. And I even practice in the mirror, trying to sound sincere when it comes to that. So I really do try, Bengals fans. I really, really do try. Let's go to the Facebook feed. Lamar Shelley says, if the Steelers lose, and I was waiting to hear your opinion on this, Kev, you being a Steelers fan. If the Steelers lose, do they get Le'Veon Bell? If the Browns lose, do they trade OBJ? I'm going to say real quick, let me respond to the OBJ thing. I think the Browns have officially, I'm fine with, I want them to keep OBJ now. At the beginning, I thought, man, Baker throwing 150 yards a game, really not, seeing that. But because Kevin Stefanski is such an innovator as far as, offensive play schemes, he's finding ways to get OBJ involved. And OBJ is not so dependent on Baker to make some of those plays as I thought he was. So now I don't want the Browns to move because he adds an element to the offense that I think if he's gone, it just becomes a simple pass and catch game between Baker and the other receivers. So I'm worried about if they did move on from OBJ. But I like the Le'Veon Bell thing back in Pittsburgh, and he's a free agent as of 4:00 today, is officially when it goes into play.
25 minutes.
I don't know where could he go? Carolina? No, you ain't going to go to Carolina, but you could compliment, McCaffrey at that point. Where could he go? I think we're trying too hard to ignore where he's most likely going to end up. And it's going to be, by the way, don't be surprised, Baltimore. Baltimore right now is not getting good run contributions from Ingram, and trust me, he's on my fantasy team, and he's not. J.K. Dobbins has been, I'm not going to use the word bust 5 games into a season, but he has not been what, I kept saying, he's slipping in the draft. This, whoever gets him, it's going to be a steal. It has not been the case as far as I'm concerned. Remember, all you need is 60 yards to be 1,000-yard back. He can't even get 40. So that's been a problem.
I won't even bring up that conversation from the summertime.
That's when we started. I wasn't right all the time, but I'm better now. So
okay. As far as Le'Veon is concerned, when the news broke last night, my phone blew up. It was my brother. Like, you think Le'Veon coming back? I was like, man, I would love it, man. But something that the Steelers are known for, man. They're known for now, especially getting rid of the headache. And we look at Le'Veon's career with the Jets. He got paid a lot of money in 18 games, like $26 million in 18 games, but the production wasn't there. Was that Le'Veon's fault or was it the Jets' fault? We look what's going on with Antonio Brown and the lack thereof, him being suspended, him trying to get back in the NFL as is. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to say, we're good. I think that's how they're going to attack that.
That's a dumb decision. They're a dumb organization that acts like they know more than everybody else. How long has it been since they won a Super Bowl?
It's probably, I'll say, like 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Steeler way, it's not really working.
It's not working?
It's not,
it's not working?
Not up to their standards. I can see if you're at least getting to AFC championship games and knocking on the door and the verge. We knocked the Eagles all those years under Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb, but damn, they were at least in the NFC title game every single year. The Steelers, not so much, even in the AFC. So that's all. That's all.
So your team wins 4 games, and now you can call the team that has been dominating the conference stupid. Like, they are.
First of all, that's not really that big of an accomplishment. You have the Bengals and the Browns in that division, and the Ravens, up until now, this is the most dominant that they've been in quite some time, even including the Super Bowl year, that they were mainly just known for their defense. Now, this is the most well-rounded Ravens team. Even go back to the Ravens Super Bowl in the early 2000s.
That's the Kenner I know.
Yeah.
That's the Kenner I know. There he is. There he is.
Yes.
But that's just not their way.
Tomlin's overrated.
Oh, you just said he was one of the best coaches in the league.
You pissed me off, so I'm changing my mind. Bringing up Freddie Kitchens like that, tripping guys on the sideline. Oh, yeah, that's my coach. Ride or die with him. Yep.
Fact, though. Shouts out to Mike T. I just don't think they're going to do it. They'll just probably stand pat. They're not even really like a big running team anymore. Like, everybody always tries to pit the Pittsburgh Steelers as a ground and pound team. They really go out there 4 and 5 wide now. And I don't think they're going to do it. I'll be happy if they did, though. We got James Conner, we got Benny Snell, we got McFarland from Maryland in the draft. I mean, we can say like all these names aren't big names until they become big names. And that's what happens when you're with an organization. The organization helps to make you a big name.
457-9464. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Back to the Facebook feed we go. Don Roberts says Steelers best ownership in football. Fact, no contest. Actually, that's not a fact, and they are good ownership. So let me reset here. The Steelers ownership, absolutely, it's really, really good. It's not the best in football. The Patriots own that by a mile. In fact, the Patriots can run 5 trips around a track and still, just be significantly ahead of everybody else. Like but Pittsburgh's up there. But I'm not going to go with the Steelers have the best ownership in football. I just can't do that right now as far as that's concerned.
I think there's a difference between ownership and management.
I think the Patriots check all those boxes.
I'm just saying, I think it's a difference. I would argue that it would be the Pats, Steelers, Packers, and the Chiefs, like as far as ownership, like giving teams the necessary tools, spending dollars and taking care of their own free agents and those type of things. I would put those teams up there with that. I wouldn't say it's a clear runaway just because you win the championships. That necessarily doesn't mean that.
Ron throwing his 2 cents in. Steelers -3.5, easy cover with a bunch of money signs. Hey, Ron, what down is it? Is it 4th down, 3rd down? Have you figured that out? I know you're a Buccaneers fan, and you're chiming in here. I'm just curious. Has your quarterback figured out what down it is yet? I know he's a little senile now, being up in age like Tom Brady is. I don't know.
And as much as I dislike Jerry Jones, I would put the Cowboys up there as well.
Yeah,
I mean, he gives his team opportunity. And that's all you can ask for from coach, from your players, to know that, like, all right, the ownership is like trying to do stuff. Like we saw so many other teams in the NFL and NBA whose ownership don't even try. They don't even try. They just like there to cash their check, and they could care less about what happens on the field. Everything that happens with Mike Brown down in Cincinnati. Like people say he doesn't care about the team and everything like that. So that's where I view management. Do they actually care enough to say, all right, we're going to spend big dollars and go over the salary cap, yada, yada, yada. So that's where I have to see the difference between management and ownership, because the Pats, they don't go over the cap to spend money on players. I think that's more like management and what Belichick is doing behind the scenes to find the right players. So that's why I think ownership and management are two different things.
Tyler Shorty says Tannehill's still better than Baker. I was waiting to hear from him. I know he tweeted at me last night. I purposely ignored him, and that's why, Shorty, just so you know, moving forward, the Titans don't exist to me.
A.J. Brown.
They almost ruined. How about that stiff arm, though? I do got to bring up that stiff arm. He stiff-armed him in the last season. I mean, it's even better because it was Norman, too, on top of it, but holy smokes. But no, the Titans don't exist. I think their quarterback, who, you bring up Ryan Tannehill's a horrible leader. He nearly put his team in position to forfeit a game because he's selfish. So I'm not a Ryan Tannehill guy. I'm not a Titans guy. Boo Titans, as far as I'm concerned. Real quick, Don Roberts going for the cheap shot here. I like it. He goes, I don't hear about the Steelers having any issues with ladies of the evening, or should I say massage therapists, bringing up, of course, Robert Kraft and Don, don't be rude. First of all, that story had a happy ending.
Oh, goodness.
He got away with it. It may not be a real happy, but for him it was. That's what got him in trouble in the first place. That's Kev's cue to shut up and just go to break. What'd I do?
I'm not going to say what you did. I'm just going to hit the button and you can wrap up the segment, and maybe we can keep our FCC
I wonder if
license.
He did that. Anyway, so when we come back, who do we have on hold? Who's
we got David from Centerville.
We have
online.
David, Nick, Tyler, and more. David, you're our first caller when we come back. I promise you. Just sit tight. Be patient. We'll be back with you in a moment. More of your calls. NFL Talk next. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Report 3.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Oktoberfest and football are at Milano's. Bavarian pretzels, German beers, schnitzel, and more. Come in and watch the game or get it to go. All carry-out beers are 25% off every day at Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps.
Election Day is November 3rd. If you plan to vote by mail, Plan ahead at USPS.com/votinginfo. There you will find helpful resources, such as guidance for successfully using the mail, links to find your state's rules and deadlines, information for military and overseas voters, and more. The U.S. Postal Service is ready to deliver for you. Make sure you're ready too. Start today at USPS.com/votinginfo.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing. We can help you with your wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time to replace them. We've got great deals on wipers that can stand up to any weather. Right now, you can get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy 2 Rain-X Quantum wiper blades. And with our next day delivery and free same-day store pickup, you can get them fast. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. O'Reilly.
Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Premixed Antifreeze and Coolant. On sale now for just $5.99 after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
Fall is in the air. Fall projects are on the list, and the Home Depot is ready with more ways than ever to help. Use our mobile app to search, shop, and save. Choose flexible delivery options that bring everything you need right to your door. And if you need tools for a project, but not forever, you can rent them. You won't find a better toolbox anywhere else. Take on fall and fall projects now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
It's time for Straight Talk, just like football. You want the best coverage with your wireless network without your wallet taking a hit? Straight Talk Wireless gives you the same nationwide coverage as the big carriers, America's best networks, for up to 50% less. Just $45 a month for 25 gigs of high-speed data than 2G with an unlimited plan. No contract, no mystery fees. Don't get sidelined by weak protection. Get Straight Talk Wireless. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I have had CertaPro painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 special financial relief assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
My name is Kate Courtley, and this is my new show, Can You Survive This Podcast? I'll be drawing on my years as a former Navy SEAL platoon commander, sniper, and CIA contractor. The show is designed to teach you techniques that will increase your chances of survival if you happen to find yourself or your family in any life-threatening disaster scenario imaginable. Subscribe and listen for free on Spotify. Can You Survive This Podcast?
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. No-touch freight, home daily lanes. Earn up to $270 per day, $2,000 sign-on bonus. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Apply online, CordellTransportation.com.
Pros, make Lowe's your first stop for flooring. See the latest in tile, vinyl, laminate, and hardwood. They have the quantities you expect and at bulk pricing. Shop in-store or online at lowesforpros.com.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
So you want to talk about outliers? Those guys are out. You're lucky that this thing's separating us. That's all I got to say. For facts, though. I got your facts right here.
Listen, stream, and now watch. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook to follow along. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. One of the biggest college football matchups of the season, or at least I should say one of the biggest college football matchups of this weekend has been postponed. I'll tell you which matchup that is coming up here around the corner. How about this? Tony La Russa, 76 years old. Well, there is a team out there who is interested in acquiring about his managerial services for next year. And a very interesting team at that. It's a team that I would not have pegged as a team that would be interested in Tony La Russa. We'll talk about that coming up here next hour as well. Dayton Flyers update for you. One of their returning players for this coming up season. Well, he will not be returning this season after he suffered a season-ending injury. I'll tell you who. I got a lot of stuff coming up for you. Loaded. By the way, the UD versus WSU. It was made official today. Woo! I'll tell you when and where that game's going to be happening.
Finally.
So UD versus WSU, baby. Cowards. All right, we have that coming up too. I got something else. Let's see. Let me right off the top of my. Oh yeah, I got an update about the NCAA First Four, about the status of the First Four and its future in the city of Dayton, and it's good news as far as that's concerned. So there's a lot that we got to cover coming up here in hour number 2. Again, I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. 457-9464. We have about 4 minutes. We have 4 minutes. Let's get a call in. We got David. David, welcome in. It's a voice we could put with the Facebook now. How are you, sir?
Not bad. I don't know if 4 minutes is going to be long enough time, but
4 minutes is all we got. So
I know. I should have called in next hour, I guess. Since you were the king of the hyperbolic statement this week.
All I heard was I'm the king. I didn't hear anything else after that. So thank you for that.
You're the king of the hyperbolic statement. Just wanting to rise everybody up.
That's really not what I'm trying to do.
The Justin Herbert thorough conversation.
I truly believe that. I was more impressed with Justin Herbert than Joe Burrow so far.
Well,
that's not to hype people up. That's the truth.
No, well,
yesterday I did say he's been more impressive than Baker. I'll take the playmaking ability of the arm of Herbert over Baker right now. I said that yesterday, so that neutralizes the theory that I'm just trying to get Bengals fans fired up.
Well, then you come out and now you're trying to get Steelers fans riled up by saying that they've been. That they're not living up to the Steeler way for the last 10 years when you're a Browns fan.
The Steeler way is a Super Bowl. They haven't won one in 10 plus years. They've missed some playoffs here. That's not the Steeler way.
One team wins the Super Bowl every season.
It's not the Steelers.
Okay, this question's for Kev. When was the last time the Steelers won the AFC championship game?
Man, shoot. That's a good question. It's been a while. I would imagine it was
2012.
I was going to say 11, but you might be right.
When was the last time the Browns were in the AFC Championship game?
Hey, David, I love you, but I don't see what are we having that comparison?
The drive to John Elway.
I mean, that's my point. You're sitting there trying to make a statement about how they've not been living up to the Steeler way for over 10 years when they were just in an AFC Championship game 7 or 8 years ago, and the Browns haven't been in one since basically I've been alive.
So these, when sports radio listeners do this, they set these rules that I'm curious if I have to abide by these, because I'm curious. So because I'm a Browns fan, does that mean I could only do 3 hours of Browns talk? I can't have an opinion on any team that's better than the Browns, because that only limits it to talking.
Don't make an inflammatory statement like they haven't been living up and done. Well, how many? Okay, let me put it this way: how many AFC North Division championships do they have in the last 10 years?
How many AFC North? I don't have that total in front of me, but keep in mind, I hear Steelers fans all the time that say, well, it's the Patriots. The Patriots have been why, the Steelers haven't been able to get over the hump to get back to the Super Bowl. They've lost. I mean, they haven't even played the Steelers in the playoffs. I think they played them once in the past decade in the playoffs. And the last time they were in the playoffs, they absolutely got blitzed and destroyed by the Jaguars of all teams. So, Pittsburgh, it hasn't been Pittsburgh in a while. They're good. They've been good, but they haven't been great since the early 2010s.
There's only one team out of the AFC that goes to the Super Bowl, and everybody and I understand that's what it's about, and I understand winning is what it's about. But to sit there and act like this hasn't been one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the AFC every single year for the last 10 years it's delusional.
The Ravens, at least have 2 Super Bowls over the last 20 years. The Ravens have had more success than the Steelers.
So we're going to go back to the 20.
Damn it, I forgot about that one. See, I'm trying to talk. You're right. Kevin, damn it.
I was going to let y'all have a conversation, but you are wrong, dude.
I was wrong. My bad. I'm admitting I'm wrong.
Because now you're bringing in Polamalu and that whole defense and Santonio Holmes making the greatest catch in Super Bowl history.
Actually, the Steelers got 3 in the last 20 years.
They got 3. The Jerome Bettis one. Bite me. Okay, fine. You guys win. Got it. I'm wrong. You're right. Next. Next.
The only other thing is I wish we had more time was about the college football with UC yesterday. Because
I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll give you 2. I could extend it by 2 more minutes.
I don't understand. I understand that you said that they didn't have boo-hoo, crybaby. They had COVID. So does everybody else. But when the schedule is made out for this season, and they have 3 games against big name schools, and those conferences cancel their schedule and then come back 2 months into the season, and we're only doing conference schedules. What do you want UC to do?
There's nothing that they can do.
Okay, so then that goes.
But I'm not going to give them the benefit of the sympathy doubt and just put them in the playoff because, well, if they could have done something, they would have done something.
They're not putting them in the playoffs.
I know. That was my whole point.
It's a stupid AP poll that no one cares about. And as of right now, with teams playing right now, man, who cares? There's teams in the top 10 every year that aren't going to make the playoffs. The rankings don't matter until the playoff rankings come out anyhow in November. So if they put UC right now,
but you want to talk about moving the goalpost when that first college football playoff poll comes out and we don't like the way it looks, we'll just say, well, the first one means nothing. All that matters is the last one. And then when the last one comes out, it's rigged.
No, I don't say that at all. I mean, this first season I've called in here for a long time. No, the rankings don't matter, don't mean anything. That's why I don't think a ranking should come out until the first college football playoff.
Then why is my opinion about the rankings getting you all fired up? They don't mean nothing.
But you can't sit there and say that UC is garbage and trash when they can't play anybody. And you sit there and you bring up their schedule about how they're not playing anybody. Well, they couldn't play anybody because the big boys canceled and then came back and said, well, we're only playing conference games. That's not UC's fault.
What was the score of the Buckeye game last year when they played?
What was the score of the Buckeye game in 2001? Well, that was last year. Who cares?
Yeah, last year. We're talking about this year's. We're talking about this current status of this current Cincinnati team. Last year's not that far off out of the realm of what we're talking about here. You're going back 2 decades.
This is a completely different UC football team.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, they've barely. I mean, they're not putting it on teams, and they're not even playing good teams. They're
How many transfers on the defensive line does UC have from last year? Do you even know?
Let's be clear. It's easy to look dominant when you're going up against UCF and Austin Peay and all those guys.
Oh, so now they look dominant when they're going against UCF. Yesterday they couldn't look dominant when they were going against UCF.
But I'm not saying they look dominant. I'm just saying you want to talk about how dominant they look or how dominant they are. I'm not going to give props to a team that's beating up on nobodies.
Well, then I guess you shouldn't give props to Ohio State in a couple weeks then.
That's true, especially they're going to have basically an off week in that week 8.
We've already had that conversation.
They'll take it easy on you. But hey, I'm out of time. I'm getting the buzzer. I got to head out. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, man.
Adios. 457-9464, hour 2 next. I totally butchered the Steelers stuff. I just totally butchered it. I get so angry at you Steelers fans. I just hit the mic. Get me out of here. We're done.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Roosters would like to thank all of our loyal guests and all the loyal Buckeye fans for your support this year. Because of you, we've been able to stay open and keep our award-winning team employed. Our team members go above and beyond and are dedicated to providing you and your family the safest dining experience possible while still providing a fun, casual atmosphere to relax, laugh, and enjoy our award-winning food. Roosters, the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
After having been restricted in order to preserve PPE for hospitals, many dental offices are now reopening. That's a good thing because regular dental care ensures that we have good oral health and good overall health. As dentists reopen their offices, you may notice some changes. Your dental office may take your temperature and ask a series of questions related to your health. You may be asked to wait in your car until the dental office is ready for you. You may notice your dentist and staff wearing a different type of face mask or face shield when providing care. All of these changes and more are designed to ensure dental patients are protected. When you make your appointment, ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know that you're being treated by the very best. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care. These ODA member dentists are bound by the highest ethical standards and have access to superior ongoing education, training, and resources. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Premixed Antifreeze and Coolant. On sale now for just $5.99 after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Buckeye fans, the season is finally here. No, for real this time. ESPN 1410 Wing AM is Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Join us for the season opener on Saturday, October 24th, when Ohio State welcomes in Nebraska. Every tackle, every touchdown, and every Buckeyes win. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. It's the ESPN Dayton hashtag We Want to Get Paid Cash Contest. Be listening every hour for the word that wins and enter it at wingam.com. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, we welcome you in hour two. Justin Kinner with you here and Kevin Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. Browns and Steelers coming up this week. We'll get into some Bengals talk coming up around the corner. Actually, we're going to have a Bengals conversation right now. I touched on this at the tail end of yesterday's show. So Hugh Jackson did a podcast yesterday, and then some interesting takeaways from his conversation in the podcast. I know people are like, oh, Hugh Jackson, I'm so sick of hearing about him, blah, blah, blah. Let's be clear. There's only one organization that should dislike Hugh Jackson, and that's the Cleveland Browns. And I'm mainly saying that because there was a lot of losing associated with Hugh Jackson. The last time Hugh Jackson was with Cincinnati, things were actually going pretty well. Hugh Jackson was being molded as the replacement for Marvin Lewis, all right? And I think, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure how much better Zach Taylor is than Hugh Jackson. I mean, he's won 3 games in a year and a half. What are you pointing at?
And he was an interim coach with the Raiders.
With the Raiders, yeah. Went 8-8 and all that.
But that's like partially how he got the job with the Browns.
So the guy, so Marvin Lewis, so Hugh Jackson, does this interview. And he is asked about his biggest regret in his NFL coaching career. And Hugh Jackson responds with, the biggest regret that he has in his NFL coaching career was leaving Cincinnati to take the Browns job. Now, not for the reasons that you think of, of course, hindsight's 2020. I didn't win there. That's why I regret going. The reason that he regrets leaving Cincinnati is because he talks about just how great of a situation it was there. He had nothing but praise for the Cincinnati organization. He said the one reason he did leave, though, is because when Mike Brown had a conversation with him about him being the heir apparent to Marvin Lewis when that time came, or if they had to move on from him, that made him uncomfortable. Hugh Jackson and Marvin Lewis are real close friends. That's why when the Browns dumped Hugh Jackson a year ago, Marvin Lewis was right there to bring him back, to bring him on the Bengals staff. So I laugh when I hear, I don't care when Browns fans make fun of Hugh Jackson, when Browns fans want to jump all over Hugh Jackson, okay, whatever. There was a lot of losing associated with him. I mean, you look at Kevin Stefanski, he's won more games in his first 5 games. He's won more games in the first month and a half of the season than Hugh Jackson did in his entire Browns coaching career, including, he went 0-16 one year, still brought back the next. But if you were a Bengals fan, why Bengals fans make fun of Hugh is beyond me. Because Bengals fans were pissed when he left. I know for me, I'm not a Bengals fan. I was bummed when he left too, because I was excited about him potentially being the head coach for the Bengals when that time came. I thought he deserved it. We do this all the time. So for instance, if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs right now and look at Eric Bieniemy, Eric Bieniemy is getting a lot of credit right now for the way that offense looks. I mean, you look at Andy Reid, he's an offensive juggernaut as well, has a great offensive mind. Every team that he goes to, he takes them to that next level offensively. Eric Bieniemy has a lot of the same offensive scheme and coaching philosophies as Andy Reid does, which is why Bieniemy will be the hottest head coaching commodity heading into this offseason. But here's the problem. And this isn't about, Hugh Jackson. This isn't about, and when you talk about Bieniemy, by the way, it's always, he's going to be that next African-American coach that gets his first opportunity. And if he doesn't, then we start talking about the race issues. There's no parallel between him and Hugh Jackson and that. That's really not what I'm getting at with this. I'm saying for Bieniemy, the thing I'm going to be curious about is how much of the success of the Chiefs is he responsible for? Because when we did this with Hugh Jackson back in Cincinnati, Andy Dalton, his very best year ever was because, of course, Hugh Jackson. The Bengals offense looked the best that it did during that stretch of Marvin Lewis because of Hugh Jackson. All right, he got Andy Dalton to look like an MVP caliber quarterback for a short stint of time. That was Hugh Jackson. So we do this all the time where we take coordinators and we say, oh, man, they're going to be the next big thing. I can't tell you who is that next big thing now? That was or who is the thing now that was the next big thing when they first got a head coaching job? Like, I'm not going to be that obnoxious Browns fan and say Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is proving right away that he is a great head coach, but it's only 5 games. I'm not going to overreact to that, so I'm not even going to include him in this conversation. You could talk about Sean McVay. You know, the McVay effect of if anyone even looked in the direction of McVay, they were handed a job because, oh man, if you know any offensive secrets from him, you're just automatically going to be. That's how Zach Taylor got the job with Cincinnati. You know, if there was no McVay effect, I don't really believe Zach Taylor's a head coach right now at all. First of all, he has no business being a head coach. He no coordinator experience and just goes from quarterback coach to all of a sudden, you know, a head coach. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So this is why I laugh. And I do think that Bieniemy is going to be a great head coach. But I laugh when we sit there and say, oh, I'm glad the Bengals didn't stick with Hugh Jackson. Who's to say that Hugh Jackson would not have had success with the Cincinnati Bengals? Let's be clear. Look at the roster that Hugh Jackson was handed in Cleveland. And this is not me saying Hugh Jackson should be the head coach of any team moving forward. That's definitely not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is at the time, it's easy to look back after what happened in Cleveland and say, oh, man, the Bengals dodged a bullet there. But Hugh Jackson was having ample success with Cincinnati's offense. The Bengals were playing their best offensive football when Hugh Jackson was there. So why do I keep hearing Bengals fans rip him so much? Why are so many Bengals fans just disgusted about Hugh Jackson? He was like, the breakup that Cleveland and him had was bad. The breakup between Cincinnati and Hugh wasn't. In fact, the same Bengals fans making fun of him now are the same Bengals fans that were upset when he took the job in Cleveland because everyone wanted him to be the head coach instead of Marvin Lewis at the time. So that's what amazes me. So when Hugh Jackson comes out and announces that his biggest regret was leaving Cincinnati because he felt he would have had success there, and that he feels that he was not put in a position to succeed. Like, I think he's a goofy guy. He's a goofy personality. I think he rubbed people the wrong way. There was a lot of internal issues with that team. I think, you know, you have Todd Haley there too, who was not looking out. I still think, like Tyrod Taylor, remember how bad he looked this first 3 games? Like, Tyrod Taylor's not that bad. Tyrod Taylor's capable of starting in the National Football League. That's why he was the starter of the Chargers coming into this year. Remember how bad he looked? I still think in my head that year, Todd Haley had everything in his head. I think he had figured that he was the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And the best way to do that was to not have Tyrod Taylor as the quarterback. It was to show that you can win and have success with Baker Mayfield, who they just drafted #1 overall. The plays he was calling, I remember that game against the Jets where they were calling the strangest plays. They were rolling him out and basically going to the weak side of the line where he had no protection and was just getting drilled, and the offense could do nothing. Then Baker comes in and he totally changes how he calls the game, and all of a sudden the offense takes off. Then, of course, it led to, you know, behind the scenes issues between, you know, Haley and Hugh, and then ultimately both get sent to the room. You know how, like, when one kid thinks, oh, I'm telling mom and dad, you're going to get it when they get here, and then your parents send both of you to your room. That's basically what happened with Hugh and Todd Haley, and that's how Greg Williams became the head coach. So that whole thing was an absolute mess. Hugh Jackson was being stabbed in the back from multiple different directions in Cleveland. I'm going to put out this disclaimer one more time. I'm not defending Hugh. I don't think Hugh should be the next head coach in Cincinnati. I heard that interview. I heard people, I saw things on social media of Bengals fans just ripping Hugh, and I'm like, what are you? You're not in this fight.
Right.
You should be defending. He actually did good things for you. He actually put Andy Dalton in the offensive position to maybe win a playoff game. He at least was part of why they got to the playoffs. So I just laugh when Bengals fans chime in on this because he did nothing wrong in Cincinnati as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with you. It's a situation where, you know, maybe Hugh was a good number 2. You know what I mean? Maybe he was just great at being the number 2. You know, everybody's not cut out to be the number 1 guy, the head coach guy. And maybe in Cincinnati, where he had relationships, things could have worked out better for him and better for his coaching career and better for the Bengals for that matter. Him taking that job with the Browns, I mean, you know, everybody talks about the 0-16 record and him being brought back for the season and everything like that. Well, let's not act like that the Browns were like trying to win games. Like, they were tanky. I mean, the players were still trying. The coaches were still trying to win games.
Technically, he executed the ownership's game plan. Yeah. Like, there's no better way to get the #1 overall pick than to go 0-16. So congratulations. You did your job.
Absolutely. I mean, and you got 2 first-round picks out of it. And let's not even act like he wasn't out there with Johnny Manziel. And I can't even remember the guy's name from Oklahoma State, the DB that they drafted in the first round. He was so terrible. So, like, it wasn't like, Deshaun Kaiser was out there for a couple snaps. Like the things that the Browns are executing now Like everybody can be like, oh man, they look so great, and everything like that. And Stefanski's doing a great coaching job. But yes, that may be true. But the caliber of player that is on the Cleveland Browns now is not the caliber of player that he had to coach. Now, the players that he was coaching in Cincinnati, a young Andy Dalton, a young AJ Green, those guys were markedly better than the guys he was trying to coach in Cleveland.
Whitworth, you had an offensive line. Hugh goes on to bring up Whitworth, by the way. He's, he calls out the ownership in there and he says, look, they made a mistake. He says if he would have remained in Cincinnati, he would have been adamant that there's no way you can move on from Whitworth. He would have made that very clear. He did talk about the deficiencies with the ownership of the Bengals and not addressing that offensive line. And, the famous line from Mike Brown that, you can easily, offensive linemen are easy to get. And I find that very ironic coming from him and an organization that right now is about to get their number one prospect just pummeled into the ground and won't play moving forward because that's how bad it's been. Real quick on the Facebook feed. Again, we're live on Facebook. It's the Justin Kinner Show. Kevin Nash on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show and follow along. Charles Mitchell says, I miss Hugh and I wish he was our coordinator right now. The Bengals' best years were with Hugh from an offensive perspective. Absolutely. So, and again, this isn't a conversation about bringing Hugh back or anything. All I'm pointing out is I thought that conversation was interesting. He does regret leaving the Bengals, and I just wonder how different the trajectory would have been of the Bengals organization had they moved on from Marvin sooner and maybe gone on to Hugh, because I think Hugh was well respected within that locker room. Players liked playing for Hugh. Things didn't really start going downhill for Hugh until that last year in Cleveland. But again, there was a lot of moving elements that were working against him. There were coaches talking behind his back. They were turning players against one another. But this is what I mean when you start coaching for your job, right? You don't care about who's there right now. That's why he didn't want to start Baker Mayfield right off the bat. Hugh Jackson didn't want to start Baker Mayfield right off the bat because you're basically, you're going to lose with the rookie quarterback. Right. So I'm going to go with the veteran. I need to keep my job. I've argued that about Zach Taylor with Joe Burrow. Why would you continue to drop him back 40 plus times a game whenever you know that you're absolutely getting him killed? But Zach Taylor knows the best way, the only reason we're going to have a shot at winning is by dropping Burrow back and taking advantage of the weapons we have in the passing game. And if it gets Joe Burrow killed, so be it, because at least it's going to make my resume look better and gives me a shot at getting a head coaching job again.
Right. There's only 32 head coaching jobs in the NFL. No, those jobs pay a lot of money.
So if you just keep handing the ball off and just lose, and if you go 1-15 or they already have a tie, so they have that going for them, then it doesn't look as good. So Zach Taylor's coaching for his next job right now. He's not going to be the coach of this team when they enter that next phase of success, in my opinion. So I am curious, Bieniemy could potentially be brought up as a potential candidate in Cincinnati after this season. Although if I'm Bieniemy, I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not going to go. You wanted me. I wanted to come there, 2 years ago, and you hired Zach Taylor, a guy with no experience whatsoever. And how'd that work out for you? Although Joe Burrow might be a reason why Bieniemy's like that, because it's all about the quarterback. Mm-hmm. It's all about the quarterback, and you got to trust that ownership's going to provide you with the weapons you need. Will coaches out there trust that Mike Brown give them the weapons that they need to win? That's going to be the big thing.
You talk about Eric Bieniemy, but we got to talk about Andy Reid and his coaching tree. We talk about Matt Nagy. He's coaching the Bears. Whatever we want to say about that record right now, they're still 4-1, and they're changing coaches, but they're still 4-1. We talk about Doug Peterson. He won a Super Bowl. We can talk about how terrible Carson Wentz is playing, but still fact remains he's the head coach in the NFL and he won a Super Bowl. Matter of fact, won a Super Bowl before Andy Reid won a Super Bowl. Also, what's Buffalo's head coach name? Sean McDermott. He's also from the Andy Reid coaching tree. And I think that's what it boils down to in the NFL, man. Like, people want to see you do something with the top guy. Like, we talked about where guys coming from the LA Rams system and people getting jobs left and right. Andy Reid's been turning out coaches left and right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but not all of them have been offensive minds.
Right,
Andy Reid.
right.
So, to say that Bieniemy's going to be successful just because all the other Andy Reid coaching tree guys have done well, those guys were all defensive minded guys, or they weren't guys that were responsible for the. Andy Reid's responsible for the offense, and I still think that that's what hurts Bieniemy is that teams out there are not completely sold that the offensive genius.
Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy were offensive coordinators on the.
Yeah, look how good Matt Nagy's doing.
They're 4-1, and
by the way, they're the worst 4-1 team in football. What kind of team at 3-1 makes a quarterback change? Bad one.
They just beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Throw it to 4.
What is it? 4th down, 5th down, 6th down, 7th down.
Doug Peterson was offensive coordinator. He's won a Super Bowl. Like, these things happen. And shoot, I mean, you're right. Like, Sean McDermott, he's a defensive head coach. Matter of fact, Harbaugh coached under Andy Reid. He was a special teams coordinator when he was in Philly. He's won a Super Bowl. He's under the Andy Reid tree. I think that has a lot to talk about how, like, when they pluck the next guy or who's going to be the next superstar coach that everybody wants. Because let's not forget, Hugh Jackson was the guy. He would, like, we can talk about whatever his record was with the Cleveland Browns.
He was the Eric Bieniemy.
He was the guy
time
that everybody wanted, and he chose the Browns because he had his pick of the litter. He could have went to any job he wanted to that was available, but he chose the Browns. So let's not get that twisted. It was end up being ultimately the wrong decision because they went 0-16. But, let's not act like he was, oh, man, why did they hire him? He's terrible. They hired a nobody. No, you did that the next time when you hired Kitchens.
All right, coming up, top of the hour, 5 o'clock, about 40 minutes from now, we'll get into our top 5, bottom 5, top 5 teams in the NFL, our bottom 5 teams in the NFL. We'll both give you our top 5, bottom 5, 40 minutes from now. But when we come back, again, there is a team out there that is intrigued by the possibilities of hiring Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa, 76 years old, former Cardinals manager, has not managed in quite some time, now in the front office with the Angels. He's been granted permission to interview with a particular team, and this team is fairly interesting, if you ask me, as far as that's concerned. So we'll get into that coming up around the corner. The Dayton Flyers versus WSU.
Yeah!
It's official. I'll tell you when and where. Next.
Oh, look, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We've been expecting you. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear with a high near 73. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low around 55. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with showers likely, a high near 65. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts takes the stress out of maintaining your home comfort system. Pay no money down, one low monthly rate, and nothing for maintenance and repairs. The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts. Learn more at 866-EXPERTS or stevensonhvac.com. See website for license details.
Fall is all about feel-good food and family. This fall, get a home-style meal on the go that everyone will love. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for a 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Home-style can happen anywhere with 12 mixed pieces of Lee's Spicy Classic Chicken, a large mashed potatoes and gravy, and a large coleslaw, all at a great price. Get a home-style meal made easy with our 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at Advanced Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations.
Remember being in your favorite sport clips, getting set for that great MVP haircut experience? Yeah, how about if we made that wait even shorter? Now, with Sport Clips On Deck text alerts, when you check in online or with our app, we'll text you a 15-minute heads up when it's time to head in. And when you're the next man up, you'll get another text to come take your seat. Less wait time, more prime time. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast.
Of a pandemic, we're told to get ready for another tax increase next year. When John McManus was vice president of the largest school board in Montgomery County, he fought against property tax increases. As our next county treasurer, he'll stand with us again. This November, vote John McManus for Montgomery County Treasurer.
I'm John McManus, and I approve this message.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package and the Double Take Tire specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
They can bulge, go bald, wear down, flatten, or be in dire need of replacing. No, guys, it's not you. We're talking about your tires. Let Fat Boys get your car rolling again. Safe and sound. Fat Boys carries tires in all makes, styles, and sizes, including Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and more. Check out Fat Boys' new location in North Dayton at the corner of Needmore and I-75 or 3050 Springboro Pike in South Dayton. Fat Boys, your ultimate resource for wheels, tire, service, and accessories. Look for Fat Boys at fatboysdayton.com.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
Before your next flooring job, make Lowe's your first stop. See the latest styles in our new flooring showroom. We carry more tile, more vinyl, more laminate and hardwood than ever before. Whatever you need, we have the job lot quantities you expect at bulk pricing to save you money. Shop in store or online at lowesforpros.com. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Our pro team can help you get the job done right and on time. It's just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Hi, it's Mike Greenberg letting you know to stay tuned at 3 o'clock later today for the Justin Kinner Show. You can also stream the show live at WINGAM.com.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. And, of course, we've talked a lot of Browns and Bengals. We'll continue on that track here in just a few moments. But I want to announce this. So UD and WSU will finally go head-to-head. No, not that WSU. No. That would never happen. I mean, absolutely. There's too many egos involved for that particular matchup to happen. So the UD-WSU matchup is the Dayton Flyers against Wichita State, which, by the way, I'm super pumped for that matchup. That's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this. Take a look at the bracket. Again, we're live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. You can watch along, listen, stream, and now watch the show. So the Crossover Classic that the Dayton Flyers are participating in will tip off on November 25th and 27th. It's a field that includes West Virginia, Texas A&M, Ohio State, Memphis, Creighton, Utah, Wichita State, and Dayton. So this is a fantastic field. I'm a little bummed that Ohio State and Dayton are really kept apart in this. Now, they could end up matching up in the championship round, which how cool would that be if that actually happened as far as that's concerned. But the last time Wichita State and UD played, it was a few years ago in the NCAA tournament. The last time UD advanced to the NCAA tournament, technically they advanced last year, but there was no tournament. Archie Miller's last year, the last group with Kendall Pollard, Scoochie Smith, Kyle Davis, Charles Cook, and those guys. That was an amazing game. That was an intense game, and it was a bummer of a way to end the season considering all the hype and the expectations going in. But UD against Wichita State, November 25th. It'll be 8:30 p.m. for that tip-off right there. Again, weekend. They would go on to face the winner between Creighton and Utah, which Dayton versus Creighton would be huge. And then to get to the semifinal round where you could potentially, or the championship round, where you could potentially run into Ohio State or Memphis. I mean, West Virginia would be cool too, Kev. But I mean, holy smokes, I would love to see Memphis. Like, I want to see UD Ohio State, but if I can't see Ohio State and UD play, I would love to see UD and Memphis go head-to-head. Penny Hardaway, I would love to see that group.
You just want to see Penny Hardaway.
Oh, I can go into this damn thing. I can go.
He's not playing, right?
Yeah. But I'm just saying, but he's done a great job at Memphis.
For sure.
He's put them on the map, man. And Memphis hasn't been a terrible basketball program, but he's really taken advantage of the connections he had in the AAU route and really bringing that with them. I mean, we're starting to see a different style of coaching in college. And again, it's the relationships formed at the AAU level and stuff. I love the job that he's doing over there at Memphis as far as that's concerned. This is an impressive field. I love this. Last year Maui was fun. Got to see UD go up against Georgia, against Michigan. They got to go up against Georgia. I wanted to see them go up against Michigan State. But how about the Kansas game though? That was like one of my all-time favorite games. Just not the outcome that we all wanted as far as that's concerned. Other news involving your Dayton Flyers. Just got this press release a little bit ago. Dwayne Cohill will miss the entire 2020 season coming up. This is, of course, a press release. Doug Hochschild, SID for the Dayton Flyers, sent this out a little bit ago that the University of Dayton has announced that junior guard Dwayne Cohill has suffered an ACL tear to his left knee and will miss the entire 2020-2021 men's basketball season. The injury occurred during a non-contact drill as part of a basketball workout on Saturday, October 12th. So just over the weekend. That's devastating news for a team that obviously they're getting, they're getting a lot of returning players back. But of course, you lose a lot of your senior leadership. You lost a lot of guys in Mike Sell, in Landers, and obviously, who's the other guy? The two best players for them, right? That Obi Toppin fella. Did he play much last year? Yeah, that's going to be that's going to be tough to really replace that. But they do have Jalen Crutcher still, which is going to be huge. This is good. It's still going to be a good team. I don't think they're going to be remotely close to as good as what they were a year ago, but led behind Jalen Crutcher and the job that Anthony Grant's done, they're still going to be in good shape. And it's interesting. So I saw that, and then the first four.
Yeah.
The first four has been extended. The contract for that has been extended. That's great news too. Look, we knew that when UD was making all those, adjustments to the arena, everything that they did for that. I thought it was interesting that, I was curious to see, was that going to lead to more NCAA first round tournament appearances here and stuff like that. But we at least know that they have extended the contract on the NCAA First Four, and that will remain in Dayton through 2026.
One of the biggest things I love about the First Four is the two 12 seeds or the 2 8 seeds, like those teams that are really on the bubble playing there, because you get some big time matchups there. I remember the year that I went to the game. It was Syracuse and they played Arizona State. It was a real good game. So I think I've been to the First Four at least 5 years in a row until they stopped this upcoming season, this past season. So yeah, it was a great event for the city. Brings a lot of revenue to the city. We all love that, and a good time.
You get to see Syracuse.
Yes, sir.
A few years ago.
Yes, sir. Made a run to the Sweet 16 that year.
Yeah, and that's been fun. So, I mean, you get to see, I love the changes that they've made to that. Look, and I love when people try to downplay the First Four. Like when they try to act like it's not like, because it's, why do they, and by the way, I mean, the branding of it, I've always said this, I hate that they call the wild card. I hate that, when you basically take a postseason berth in any sport, like the wild card in baseball, the wild card in football. Why does that have a separate title? It's just the playoffs. And the First Four is the NCAA tournament. Sometimes I think they work against themselves by branding it the First Four, because you are literally branding it something separate from what it actually is, and that's the NCAA tournament. So it drives me nuts with that branding. But when I've heard people who have criticized it saying, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where, it's just the First Four. The games don't really matter till the first round. Well, that's not true. The wild card is, in essence, is the same thing in Major League Baseball. The wild card is the same thing in football. I hate that we brand it like that, because it's the playoffs. It's in Major League Baseball, it's that one game wild card. I hate that it's only one game. You play 162 just to play one, but it is the playoffs. If you qualify for the wild card, it is the playoffs. If you qualify for the First Four, that's the NCAA tournament. When UD made the First Four years ago, they were so offended by it. It was like a slap in the face. And I'm like, look, it's only a slap in the face because that's the NCAA's fault. They've branded that to be something that is outside looking into the tournament. I don't like that.
Because they had the Final Four, like, well, what's the first 4 games going to be? Oh, we go to the opening 4, whatever they call it. I agree with you. I always feel a type of way when it's the 16 seeds playing up against each other for the right to go play Duke the 2 days later and everything like that. I've always been a proponent of let it be those bubble teams. Let it just be all bubble teams, like whatever. Let's say it's NC State and Purdue, and it's Syracuse and Arizona State, Texas Tech and Vanderbilt, whomever is on the bubble, like those schools from the Power 5 conferences that people kind of know and have recognition with that are on the bubble. Let all of them play, because I believe that, that would bring more eyeballs to the TV. Us in town, this is Dayton, where we love college basketball, so we're going to go see whomever. But just like more viewers, let Jackson State, let Wright State go ahead and play Kentucky on Friday and get their doors blown off and everything like that. But I really think it should just be all those true bubble teams to play in the first 4.
My thing is this, like if Wright State ever made the first 4, which by the way, you really do. It's the weirdest thing. It's very difficult to make the first 4 as the 16 seed. Like you have to be really bad, but you have to be really, really bad to be a 16 seed.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to be funny here. It's difficult to be a seed. I would love to see Wright State play the first 4 because, for one, you have a chance to get a win in the NCAA tournament. Like that still counts. If Coach Scott Nagy takes Wright State to the NCAA tournament and they play in the first 4 and they get a win over another 16, it's still an NCAA tournament win, right? Like a win's a win, especially in March. So that's just one of those I always find fascinating as far as that's concerned. But no, like you go to UD Arena for the first 4, it's the NCAA tournament like atmosphere. It's amazing. It doesn't. I give UD credit though. That atmosphere, that arena, we talk about the first 4 like it's something separate from the tournament. It's not. UD makes it feel like it is the NCAA tournament. So you can brand it however you want. So we talked Browns earlier, and we'll get back into some more college basketball stuff a little bit later. News about how I'm curious how teams are going to do scheduling this year in the Horizon League for Wright State. They're going to be playing an interesting type of conference schedule this year. I'll explain the change in that coming up here in just a moment. Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers coming up. We talked about the perception of that matchup, and I want to talk a little bit with our friend Steve from Springboro, the true American. What up, dude? Please say you heard our conversation earlier.
No, I just got off from work a little while ago, dude, so I caught just the tail end of what. Anyway, should I put your partner in crime there? Do you think he might? I've not met the guy, so I'm going to reserve.
Oh, you've met Kev. You've met Kev at the Sunday morning show. You know who Kev is.
I don't think so.
We've met.
You have fun on Sunday mornings. You probably just don't remember. You've met Kevin.
Well, anyway, he made the comment about neither he or I coached or played. Well, I did coach and play, so I just, we were talking about yesterday the Pittsburgh Cleveland outcome. So I can remember, and he wasn't even probably alive yet in '89 when Bud Carson went to Three River Stadium, spanked him bad, 51-zip.
I just was talking about that with the cardiac kids and, Bryant Sight and all those type of teams. I grew up, I was alive then. I grew up in the 80s.
Back then, dude. That was Bernie.
No, I'm talking about like I remember the cardiac kids. Like that's like my first time really being.
You must have been in diapers then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
I just want to know why you're such a Steeler fan. Was it Grandpa, Daddy, or what?
No, my mom and my brother are Steeler fans. Our family is divided. Family divided.
Well,
my grandmother's a Browns fan. My dad's a Browns fan.
She's a great grandmother.
She is. She's the best. I just saw her this past weekend.
She must have been giving you the bottle at one time and dropped you on your head and turned you against the Browns. Something I can figure, my man.
Yeah, that's what we were expressing earlier in the show. We were talking about how some Pittsburgh Steelers fans just take this game for granted. I've never taken it for granted because I remember the 80s. And people unfamiliar with the 80s, the Browns were the dominant team, and there were games that they were beating the Steelers 59-0 and just bludgeoning the Steelers and Kevin Mack running people over left and right. So I remember those games. So I don't ever take a game versus your biggest rival for granted. So I'm looking forward to this matchup.
Just respect the history, and there's a whole lot of Pittsburgh fans out there, and I work with a few youngs and I've been trying to school them here lately on the history of their team. And this is just my opinion. If you don't know the history of your teams, then don't tell me you're a true fan. So I laid some stuff on them. I said, well, remember your first draft pick when you guys, because I can remember when Steelers couldn't buy a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, You guys remember your first draft pick?
First ever?
No, well, when they was it 69, 70? Okay.
It was either Mike Webster or Mean Joe Green.
Well, no, which one was it, my man?
Is one of them.
Now, you come on now.
Hey, now. Mike Webster.
Nope.
Mean Joe.
There you go.
Close enough. They both in the Hall of Fame.
You're going to be a diehard fan. And who was your head coach?
I almost said Bill Cowher. I know who it is.
I'm stumping him, ain't I?
It's not stomping me. It's just I just don't know.
Chuck Noll.
Chuck Noll, the great Chuck Noll.
Yeah, it was a guard for a Hall of Famer not a Hall of Famer, but a Pro Bowler for the Browns. It's a guard, messenger guard back in the day. And then your boy Bill Cowher, who played and coached in Cleveland with Marty, took you to the next one. So you're welcome, man. Glad we helped you out there.
Appreciate it.
What's the? I saw that. I know they're favored by 4.5. What's the over/under? Because I think I'm going to go with the over/under on some bets.
50.
50?
Yes.
I can see that. Because I don't think, honest to God, I don't think there's going to be much defense. I think it's going to come down to, like it does in about every game, no turnovers, field position, yada, yada, yada. But I can see it hanging maybe on one big play, whoever has the ball last. And
yeah, the one thing I am worried about, though, is like last year, the Steelers took the run game away from Cleveland both games last year. Now, again, different offensive line, different type of team. So, but I mean, we'll find. I mean, that offensive line's legit. I'm not questioning that at all. But if Pittsburgh, the one thing about Pittsburgh, I'm maybe not really 100% sold on their offense, but that defense is pretty solid for Pittsburgh.
Our back end of the defense is what I'm worried about.
Me too.
Zendeo, somebody needs to sit him down. He sucks. He gets burnt. The first 4 games this year, he has been burnt. He sucks. I don't know. I love the Joseph kid. I wish we could have got Del Pitt in there this year, even as a rookie. I think he could have. I wasn't ready to put him in as a Don Rogers or an Eric Turner type, but I think he can be that kind of guy. But you do realize correct me and I'll let you go. I'll get off here so you can get somebody else. I do believe if the Ravens lose Sunday, we beat you guys at Ketchup Field, I believe that puts us in first place. Would that be correct? I think yeah.
Yeah, that'll put y'all 5-1. Them Ravens 4-2.
Yeah, there you go.
Steelers 4-1. Yeah,
there you go. All right, guys, I'll call you later on this week.
All right, there he is, Steve from Springboro. I tell you, I forgot to tell him again. And we're going to be live out at Frickers on 741 starting October 25th, the Sunday, Browns and Bengals game, of course, but the first Sunday after Ohio State's first game, we'll be doing the show live out there. It'll be the Sunday morning tailgate show. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and myself, we will be live at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall, bringing the show back. So we're excited about that. It'll be from 11:30 to 1 p.m. We'll walk you right up to kickoff of that day's NFL games. We're super pumped about that, to be able to get back out to Frickers and host the show live on the road. Myself, Keith Byers, again, the Sunday morning tailgate show will return Sunday, October 25th at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. Speaking of Frickers, get your weekly picks submitted for the NFL Pro Pick'em Challenge at wingam.com. Go to wingam.com and get your picks submitted. $25 in Frickers Fun Bucks awarded to the weekly winners. David, I saw that you're asking in the Facebook post about how to pick that up. One way, well, come out to Frickers. We'll get you your prize there. I'll be in touch with you after of how you can come and pick up that prize outside of your regular working hours. So we will get that figured out for you. But yeah, that's returning again. The Sunday morning tailgate show presented by Frickers at Frickers, 741 by the Dayton Mall. That'll be returning on the October 25th. Browns Bengals week, of course, and then day after the Buckeye game. So Keith Byers and myself looking forward to that when we bring that back coming up here in just a few weeks. All right, we'll step away for a few moments. Tony La Russa, let's talk baseball when we come back. Tony La Russa will be managing again, possibly in 2021. I'll tell you who he's interviewing with. The Angels approved the interview. And you have to think if the Angels approve him going out for an interview that he's showing interest in potentially managing again. Where could Tony La Russa end up? How can it impact the Reds? We'll get to that next.
Where the hell you get this beat from?
It's in the system.
This sounds like something that should be played at Diamonds.
Back it.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ready for renovations? Arts Rental Equipment has the tools you need to make your home, lawn, and garden stand out this year. From brush chippers to cutoff saws, no job is too small or too big. Visit your local Arts store today. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
You have empty office space to fill. You know what you need, and you know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places that what you need and what you'd like, that might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half price and below manufacturer suggested prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really. Desks from $50 to $5,000. File cabinets, $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Outlet. With 87,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. 2 locations. One at 23 McOil Street, Dayton. The other, Uniques Unlimited on South Dixie. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Saturday, 10 to 4.
I'm attorney David Brannon, and I'm running for Montgomery County Probate Court Judge on November 3rd. If you ever get married, claim an inheritance, or care for aging parents, you may find yourself in need of the probate court. Over the past 15 years, I've worked hard to protect those in need and to get the right answers for families in probate court. I am also certified by the Ohio State Bar Association as a specialist in probate law. I understand that families need speedy and fair decisions from the probate court. I have the dedication and compassion to be there for your family, so please vote for me, David Brannon, November 3rd. I am David Brannon, and I approve this message.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Picking up an online order? No problem. It'll just be a moment. You know, we've got more convenient ways to shop besides our same-day store pickup. You can also shop from your car with our free curbside pickup. Or you can even shop completely from home with our free next-day delivery. Just order by 10 p.m. on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Free next-day delivery on eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
When you needed your mom, she was always there with the Vicks Vapor Rub. She used that soothing scent to calm you. And her mom used it to calm her. And her mom, well, you get the idea. Vicks Vapor Rub's always been there. It always made you feel better. And today, it still does. Bring back those childhood memories with the comfort and care only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, family tradition for a reason.
With thousands of locally owned Napa stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, we do too. And that's why you can find us in big cities, small towns, and everywhere in between, doing what we've always done to help keep our local communities moving forward. So whether you stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, Auto Care Center, or visit us at Napa online, you can count on Napa know-how.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
O'Reilly. It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Superstart battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Superstart batteries. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Give your sweetie the priceless gold box this year for Sweetest Day, or get a special pack box of those favorite pieces. Don't wait until the last minute. Sweetest Day is October 17th, so come and visit us. Shop online at EstherPrice.com or contact any of the Esther Price Candy's 7 locations to place a curbside order for pickup. It only takes a minute to make that special someone smile when they see their gold box of their favorites. So don't forget and place your order today.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City, Ohio is hiring for warehouse positions in all units, which include flexible schedules, career growth opportunities, best-in-class benefits, and competitive starting wages. Interested candidates should call 937-669-9109 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. Apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Search distribution and enter Tip City. Once again, call 937-669-9109 for an interview. We look forward to you joining the team at Meyer. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
Do you have a home improvement project? Use the right tool for the job and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. Arts has the best selection from power washers and ladders to loaders and dump trailers. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Hey, who wants free money? Who are we kidding? We all do. It's the ESPN Dayton hashtag We Want to Get Paid cash contest. Listen for the word that wins 18 times a day, starting at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. Enter the keyword at wingam.com for your chance to win $1,000. It's the ESPN Dayton hashtag We Want to Get Paid cash contest. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
You said this sounds like something you hear at Diamonds, huh?
Yes, sir.
You go to Diamonds for the music?
For the wings.
The wings. This ain't Atlanta now. And to be honest, it's Dayton, so you probably should go for the wings. Okay, I'm done. I
got my hand on the dump button, man. You know how you like to get.
The biddy bar. What? You made up that rule. That is not an FCC violation. I'm pretty sure I've had a few, but that's not one of them.
I'm going to Google it.
Someone just said they have wings at Diamond. See, do they?
Wings?
You can bring in your own beer. That's the best part. Oh, not a beer guy?
Give us a call.
457-9464. We're going to be live at it. No, I'm just joking.
We should,
we won't do that. COVID. Amongst other diseases. Okay, stop. This is ridiculous. Trying to be adults here. 457-9464 for real. Okay, that's the Diamonds theme, apparently. I had no idea when I loaded that in that there was this, okay. So Tony La Russa is going to interview for a potential job in Major League Baseball. He's going to return to potentially managing back in Major League Baseball. 457-9464, by the way. We'll open up the phone lines if you want to call in as we close out this crazy second hour here, already off to a bad start. So Tony La Russa has not managed in quite some time. He spent 16 seasons with the St. Louis Cardinals, and of course that came to an end back in 2011. Again, it was a season that ended in La Russa's third World Series championship. And I find it interesting. He's 76 years old in a sport where it's all about going younger, because it's all about, embracing the advanced analytics era. And there's just no way that the older managers are going to be willing to accept the new way that baseball is being played. So I find this interesting that this is a direction that this franchise could potentially go in. The Chicago White Sox, after moving on from Renteria, again, Renteria has been fired by the Cubs and now the White Sox. Okay. But they are looking to go in that direction. So they ended up getting approval from the Angels. And again, the Angels have granted the White Sox permission to interview Tony La Russa for their managerial opening, a source told ESPN earlier today. And of course, it was a report that was confirmed with USA Today. I like the White Sox roster. That's a division that's ripe for the taking right now, because the Indians are about to hit the reset button. They are about to They are about to, of course, move on from Francisco Lindor, which, by the way, it's crazy how many reports are out there, or at least just rumor mill stuff about the Reds and how they actually, when you look at the pieces that the Indians need, the Reds actually have a lot of the pieces that the Indians would be interested in. The problem is the Reds, I don't see how there's any financial flexibility for them to be able to do so.
He wants $300 million.
Yeah, he didn't get, but that's the thing. I don't think he's getting $300 million. I think the best thing going for the Reds is that COVID really kind of is going to bring down the asking prices for no team out there is going to do that. Now, I say that, but there have been teams in other sports that have made, I mean, look, we're acting as if, no sports team is going to operate under those conditions anymore because of COVID, but you have a quarterback in the NFL that just got $500 million.
Yeah, so, Mookie Betts just got $400 million.
But I don't know. I don't see how 300 mil. I just don't see him getting that.
Maybe 200. I could see 200. $300 million? I mean, I'm a big Frankie fan. I wish he would be able to stay, but I don't think I can give him $300 million.
I mean, look, Votto's contract's about to be up. You're going to have $25 million off the books per year coming up here in about a year or two, I believe. So, and that would mean if the Reds really did have to heavily pursue him, that Bauer is probably not coming back to Cincinnati, and I don't even know how heavily they're going to go after him. I do think that the Reds look at, okay, this rotation was one of the best in baseball. We might lose the main cog in that rotation, but we can go get just as good. We can go get another pitcher that's just as good, maybe not just as great, but just as good that would serve, he would provide a very good arm in that rotation and then use that extra money to go elsewhere. I'm watching the playoffs, and I'm like, okay, the Reds pitching staff did look like the other pitching staffs in baseball. They matched up. What I'm seeing, especially out of the Rays, what I'm seeing even the Astros, even though they're making a lot of, Altuve's making a lot of errors in the field, the Yankees and others, I know the Yankees have been beat with the Braves, the position players, the offensive side and the defensive, that's where the Reds just did not stack up at all. And that's why they just got stifled basically against the Braves and their pitching staff, which I think the Braves have only given up like 5 or 6 total runs this entire playoff run. So maybe, yes, the Reds disappeared. Don't get me wrong, but they have not. That can't be right. I read that stat on Twitter just before coming on. I'm like, I didn't know if that looked right or not. But either way, I found that interesting. He's not getting 300,000 or 300 mil.
No,
there's just no way.
I don't think so. I just don't see it feasible unless it is. But why would the Dodgers get him? Is it the only team that I could see paying that type of money who actually needs him is the Red Sox.
But they just unloaded a ton of money last year, and I don't think that they are going to go in on that money in that contract now unless they're like planning ahead. I don't know. But if I'm him, I'm not going to a rebuilding Red Sox team. The Yankees have dumped a lot of money into Garrett Cole and others.
Baseball players do.
So I just don't see him going to Boston. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that right now you're starting to see a lot of, the Padres came into play. There's a lot of teams that are coming out of nowhere that are offering big bucks to guys. If I'm the Reds, I'd do it.
Man,
I do it.
I don't think
the Reds are good for it. People said the same thing about Votto. You said 200 mil. They gave 200 plus mil to Joey Votto.
But that's when we were allowed to go to stadiums like teams like the Reds and teams like the Indians. Pirates. They count on us, me and you, going to the stands, going to the games, buying tickets, buying $500 hot dogs, buying beers, and having a good time. Like they depend on that money. Like when you don't have that revenue coming in from the fans, that affects your bottom line big time.
Forbes listed the Reds as $1 billion team.
Yeah, every team is listed.
They have the money. Don't want to hear it. They have
every
the money.
Every major team is $1 billion team. Your value is that, but you're not $1 billion team until somebody cuts you a check for $1 billion.
No, you have the money. They have the money.
There's no way they have that type of money.
That's fine, and that's why they'll just continue floating around in the, they won't swim in the deep end. That's fine. That's why the Reds do this. We're going to have a 2-year window every 10 years where we're competitive, and I fear that this was that 2-year window because you're about to lose Bauer. Votto is nothing anymore. Castellanos probably won't come back, and Moustakas, who you have for another year or two, he really didn't do anything. Suarez just disappeared this year for whatever reason. Like, there's a lot of issues with this Reds team that can be fixed if they just said, hey, we're going to put our team's going to be in a bad spot here in a couple of years, but man, that's why you got to go all in right now. Open up the pocketbook, open. And by the way, you sign him to a $250 million contract. Doesn't mean for 10 years, doesn't mean you keep him for 10. Guys get moved all the time. Alex Rodriguez, guys with big contracts get moved all the time. The Reds can commit to $250 million if they want to for 10 years. Keep them for 3, and when it's time to hit the rebuild button, unload them for prospects, and boom. That's how you're going to replenish. In fact, that's how I look at it as an investment. I do pay him the money he wants. I give him whatever contract he wants because they ain't going to pay that. When they trade him, that money's going away. So to me, it's right now, if the Reds wanted to hit the reset button, they don't have good enough pieces to get anything of significance as far as really good prospects from other teams out there. If you go get him, you get Francisco Lindor, you give him that money in 3 years or 2 years. If the Reds say, you know what, we went for it, didn't work. Trade Francisco Lindor away. You're going to get 2 or 3 top prospects from an organization that want him, and then you've replenished your farm system, and now you're hitting the reset. That's what the Reds are going to do. 2 years, there are going to be 2 legit competitive years every 10 years. That's just the unfortunate reality of a small market team, and I hate that term because you're only small market because you choose to be. I'm not saying they're going to spend like the Yankees, but they don't have to spend the way they have been. That's why last year I was impressed with the fact that they, took that step forward.
I will say this as a Cleveland Indians fan, there's a problem on your team, and this would be the problem with the Reds as well, when your shortstop is your power hitter. Like him being the offensive weapon for the last 3 years for the Cleveland Indians end up being a problem. They had no big bats in the lineup. I mean, I know he'll be a big bat for the Reds because they have no big bats this year, but $300 million is a lot of money, man. And I don't think that they can afford to do that, because I know the Cleveland Indians can't at all. And I don't think that the money between the Cleveland Indians and the Reds are that far between that. Like, oh yeah, they can afford it and they can't. Like, I just think that's
every team can afford it. You can't tell me that they can't. You said $200 million for Francisco Lindor.
Yeah,
they gave $225 to Joey Votto. Why is that?
Because that's when the world was open. The world is closed.
Actually, $225 million has looked as small. Yes, it is. Now Joey Votto's contract doesn't even look that big compared to what everyone else is getting. Talking about $350 million, $400 million for some of these guys. I don't think that. And by the way, $200 million probably won't be enough to get him.
Oh no, because I'm a firm believer that he's going to the Red Sox for at least $300 million.
Okay, we'll see. Reds, go get it. You want to be a big boy, you want to be an adult, you want to sit at, you try to sit at the kids' table, go get them. All right, 457-9464. David Shaw says next season the world will open. Don't let it dominate you, Kev. We'll be back in a moment. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next hour 3. When we come back, top 5, bottom 5. Top 5 teams in the NFL, bottom 5. We'll give you ours. We'll hear from yours. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Wake up, Ohio, to what's going on in Columbus. The former House Speaker indicted for bribery. The majority ignoring medical experts and how COVID-19 impacts our jobs, health, schools, and local businesses. Giving huge tax breaks for millionaires and corporations. We can do better, and I'm a problem solver committed to fighting for hardworking families. My name is Erin Rosiello, candidate for Ohio House District 62, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Erin Rosiello, at your service. Try Vicks VapoCool Drops in Honey Lemon Chill for a fast-acting relief of honey lemon, not to mention a soothing chill. So remember, Vicks VapoCool Drops are honey lemon and honey lemon. Honey lemon. Yeah, honey lemon chill. Get fast-acting relief with Vicks VapoCool Drops in Honey Lemon Chill. Use as directed.
Napa know-how. At Napa, you can buy a 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $27.99. And as a bonus, you'll score a $10 gift card by mail-in rebate. That's like a cherry on top of the cherry on top of your oil change. So get $10 back by mail when you buy a jug of Mobil 1. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 10/31/20.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel was created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
It's the big building material and home improvement auction online in Worcester, Ohio at the Wayne County Fairgrounds. Kitchens, flooring, doors, trim, plumbing, lighting, tools, and unclaimed freight online at pbauctions.com. Bidding has begun, and it all ends Thursday at 12 noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid in the Wayne County Fairgrounds online auction. Live previews Wednesday and Thursday, and the auction ends starting at 12 noon Thursday. So go to pbauctions.com, and we'll see you online at the auction.
The all-new Audible now gives you thousands of select audiobooks, podcasts, originals, and more, all included with membership. Try it for free for 30 days. Visit audible.com.
Buckeye fans, the season is finally here. No, for real this time. ESPN 1410 Wing AM is Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Join us for the season opener on Saturday, October 24th, when Ohio State welcomes in Nebraska. Every tackle, every touchdown, and every Buckeyes win. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. 1410 WINGAM.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
We are Dayton's ESPN radio station. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Big weekend in college football, a lot of big ones. How about Alabama and Georgia? I know a lot of people are looking forward to that one. How about LSU in Florida? I cannot wait for that. Oh, wait. It doesn't matter if I can't wait. I have to wait. The game is postponed. Rona. Due to the Rona. And this is just days. This news comes just days after the head coach for Florida, and Dan Mullen said, look, he comes out and says that they should be, that everyone should look at them as the model of how to follow safety protocols for the coronavirus. Like, I kid you not. Literally, not even 24 hours after he goes on to say that Florida is the epitome of what all programs should look at in regards to following safety protocols to protect themselves against the coronavirus. Not even 24 hours later, we are talking about how Florida has now postponed their game with LSU. Keep in mind, this is just a few days after Dan Mullen was, of course, fighting to have 90,000 fans pack their home stadium. I just found, irony is so funny sometimes. Florida shut down its football program on Tuesday after a number of tests came back positive. Florida now has 18 positives among scholarship players and 3 walk-ons. Athletic director Scott Strickland said on Wednesday. Dan Mullen said that 2 assistants have also tested positive, but both were asymptomatic. He goes on to say that when you add in those who are quarantined through contact tracing as a result of those positives, in addition to a handful of players on the non-COVID list, it gives us less than 50 scholarship players available, Strickland said. So David Shaw says still 0 hospitalized. Well, whenever we ask how many are hospitalized, I'll make sure that we start acknowledging those. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I'm just saying these are positive tests. I don't know what that means. It's still a pandemic. It's still a virus that is going around. I don't get why we are still, after March, still doing this game of, how many deaths? So what's the death rate? It doesn't matter at this point. I don't care what people think about this virus. The bottom line is when the virus strikes, games stop. So I don't give a flying rip what your opinion is about the stupid virus. It's freaking October, and we're still doing these stupid comments about, but what's the death rate on this thing? Who cares? Because you want to know what? That death rate for the coronavirus that may not be so high to you, I don't even care about that stuff right now. All I'm saying is that it takes one test to postpone a game. I don't care about the severity of I don't care how severe you think the Rona is, all right? It doesn't matter, because when it hits and there's a player that tests positive, they stop the damn game. They stopped He says the NFL didn't stop. The NFL did stop. How many games have we postponed? How many games have we moved? We just had Tuesday night freaking football. Why did we have Tuesday night freaking football? Oh yeah, because the Rona. So, look, this isn't about our opinions anymore of whether we think it's serious or not. The bottom line is, and this is a fact. I know people like to create their own facts. Facts are this. By the way, Troy High School, they just had to forfeit their playoff game because, well, the Rona. How about the death rate? It doesn't matter. The Rona. No game. Fairborn had to cancel their playoff game. They had to just forfeit. You went through everything. Those kids went through everything to prepare for the playoffs. Positive test. No football. Oh, but the death rate, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, how long have people been waving the flag about the damn death rate? It doesn't matter. You're wasting your time. You're tiring yourself. You're wearing me out. You're annoying me. Just stop it. No one cares about that argument anymore because regardless of your opinion about the virus, it's not slowing the reaction down as far as how teams are handling it. Oh, well, they're not going to play this weekend because of the virus. That's stupid. That's great. Cool opinion. There's still no game. Your opinion is not going to change the fact that there's no dang game this coming up weekend. And every time we bring up anything like that, my inbox gets flooded, my emails get flooded. I don't care about your opinion about the virus right now because you've been saying that, not really calling out anyone in particular. It's the mass of people that light up my inbox with this. Everyone that likes to try to tell me their opinion about the virus, I don't care your opinion about the virus. Everyone has been trying to tell me their opinion on the virus since March. And you know what? It's meant nothing. No matter how stupid you think the virus is, we still can't drink at bars past 10 o'clock. We still can't go out and do what we used to. Football is not the same. Sports aren't the same. The NBA just wrapped up in October instead of July because of nothing's the same. So regardless of your opinion about this virus, at the end of the day, the virus has impacted everything, including high school football, college. So to sit there and say that the NFL, the NFL hasn't been impacted. Really? The Titans just played Tuesday Night Football. The Titans are morons. The Titans almost ruined it all, by the way, just to get that out. But yeah, regardless, I feel bad for Troy, the kids, the football players at Troy, the football players at Fairborn. I feel bad for them. Mm-hmm. You can sit there and say, oh, well, the death rate, that doesn't mean anything. Because the second that a positive test hits, boom. Tough act enacted. Boom! It's done. It's over. There's no game. Let's go to, if we still have him waiting on hold.
Jay, please be here.
Jay, what's your opinion on the coronavirus, my friend? Jay in Franklin, how are you?
I'm here. I'm still here.
So what do you think? No, I'm just joking. All right. You have a story about Joe Thomas. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. So I want to preface this conversation by saying that I'm a Dolphins fan. I was born and raised in Ohio.
Okay.
It's miserable, but I'm going to say this. I do not understand the hate for the Cleveland Browns. I can't wrap my head around it. And the first reason is they're the underdogs. It's the classic underdog story. Why wouldn't you want Cleveland to be good? And then the second is Joe Thomas. I mean, is Joe Thomas not the ultimate company man? I mean, that guy, he played in Cleveland for how many years, and he was the best left tackle in the game.
Yeah, I feel bad that the second he steps out of the game, that's when things become fun for Cleveland, right?
Oh yeah, well, he's going to go down. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, and I don't know if they keep track of the stat, but I bet he'll be have the least amount of wins for any Hall of Famer ever.
Yeah, that's a good point. Never thought about that. He's the best loser in the Hall of Fame. I mean,
he's a great player. But anyway, I met Joe Thomas in Afghanistan in 2009.
Really?
Him and and he wasn't in a place. He wasn't in the green zone. He went to a place where not a lot of people go visit.
What were they there for?
Just the USO trip.
Just the USO trip. Okay.
Yeah, come raise some morale for us. So we took them around the base.
Thank you for your service.
Yes,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So you weren't just hanging out in Afghanistan one day, just happened to run into him, Okay.
No, we had a connecting flight.
Yeah.
So my buddy of mine is from Minnesota. He's from Wisconsin. They kind of hit it off and started exchanging emails. Well, we got back to the States, and it was football season, and Joe said, "Hey, I'd like to send you and your buddy to a Cleveland game." Well, I'm like, all right. Well, at this point, I was in Texas. My buddy was in Colorado, and Joe Thomas flew us to Cleveland first class.
No kidding.
First class. Oh yeah, flew us first class. We stayed. We got there. We went through a tour of the facility, stand behind the podium with the where they do their post game and everything, and then we stayed in the team hotel. So the night before the game, we got to go eat team dinner with the Cleveland Browns. And it was one of the most amazing spreads I've ever seen in my life. And those boys can eat. I'm going to tell you
that. I was gonna say. But that is so cool.
Lobsters and pizzas and hamburgers. And Joe Thomas never said a word to anybody about it. There was never any making a big deal about flying some veterans out here for a game. No one ever even knew we were there. So we went. This was in the Eric Mangini days. But he was an awesome guy. He took us. We sat with the players' wives and families during the game, sideline passes. But this was the game, and you probably remember it, Justin, being a Browns fan. Peyton Hillis, and this was the 2010, I'd say, or 11, and they played the Patriots. And they beat the brakes off of them.
Yes.
You remember that game?
Yes. Trust me, if you're a Browns fan, there's only a few highlights over this last decade. Right, that is definitely one of them. So.
I was there watching that game. I was hoping it was going to be like one of those angels in the outfield thing, and they were going to bring us to every game. But it didn't turn out that way.
That is cool.
It was a really cool thing. It was cool. Joe Thomas is a great guy, and ever since then, I root for the Browns anytime they're not playing the Dolphins for sure, which, that's probably not a very good game anyway, but
no,
just wanted to share that story.
No, I appreciate you doing that. Again, we do thank you for your service. But while we have you, you're a Dolphins fan. Tua Tagovailoa, why is he not playing? And are you upset? Because I would be upset. There's no reason why he should not be playing unless he's injured. But team doctor said coming in, he was 100% cleared. Heck, a month out, they said he was 100% cleared.
Well, that's what I can't wrap my head around is, because Fitzpatrick went out and threw 4 touchdowns last week and 330. I was like, yeah, he's going to do that. And then, next week he'll throw 3 interceptions. Well, we're playing the Jets, so maybe not next week, but following week, he'll go out and he'll throw 3 interceptions. We know who Ryan Fitzpatrick is. The problem I have with it is you got Tua Tagovailoa, if the guy can play. Because you got 2 first-round draft picks next year. We got the Texans and we got ours, which are both have a potential to be top 15 picks.
I could potentially be in the top 10, and that worked out for the Browns a few years ago, where they ended up having the number 1 and number 4 pick. I don't think the Dolphins will be drafted that high, but no, you're right. And by the way, you got the Jets coming up. That is the game that you want to. Hell, that worked for Baker Mayfield. That is the game that you want to debut Tagovailoa. It's kind of an easier game to throw him out to.
Right. I thought originally that was because originally on the schedule before the COVID change, they were going to play the Jets. Then they had a bye, and they were playing the Jets again. I was like, well, Tua's going to play one of those weeks. So I don't know if we'll see him this year, to be honest, but hopefully we do.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But hey, Jay, I appreciate you being patient. I loved your story about Joe Thomas. And again, we thank you for your service. Thank you for the call as well.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. Good stuff there. 457-946. See, he called it the perfect time. He called it the perfect time.
You're a wild guy, man.
Yep. I'm stupid, but not as stupid as COVID. Don't let it dominate you.
Nope.
I'm stronger now than I was before.
Are you immune?
I don't know. Maybe. Top 5, bottom 5 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Report 3.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear with a high near 73. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low around 55. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with showers likely, a high near 65. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts takes the stress out of maintaining your home comfort system. Pay no money down, 1 low monthly rate, and nothing for maintenance and repairs. The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts. Learn more at 866-EXPERTS or StevensonHVAC.com. See website for license details.
Got a project to do? Use the right equipment and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. With over 50 years experience, Arts has the best selection, delivery, and service, plus 14 Arts locations. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Welcome to another Fantastic Four golf hole experience with the Buy Golf for Half Bogey Boys.
We're in Greenville, Ohio today playing the beautiful Turtle Creek Golf Club. This course has been rated the #1 golf course in the Dayton area. Extremely well maintained and spectacular views. We just finished up hole number 9 and turned the corner for the second half of our round. I'm finishing one of their famous Turn Club sandwiches and staring down the fairway at the awesome number 10 hole. Trees line both sides of this narrow downhill par 4. Now, it's not long, but being straight obviously is critical. That's the hardest part of my game, but today I drive it right down the middle. If I can avoid the water on the left, I have a chance for par. My second shot lands in good shape, just short, and I'm up in the hole in 2 for a par. That's what keeps me coming back. Oh yeah, that sandwich, that was pretty good too. You have got to play this course. Get your pals together, book a tee time, and come out and play Turtle Creek. Stay tuned for more Fantastic Four golf hole experiences. See you at the next hole.
Visit buygolfforhalf.com for half-price golf packages from Turtle Creek and other great local golf courses around the Miami Valley.
Try Bob Evans' new crispy fried chicken dinner bell plate. It's boneless, hand-breaded fresh, and oh so juicy. Try it for just $7.99.
O'Reilly. It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Superstart battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Superstart batteries. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities, and the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at Advanced Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations.
Welcome to another Fantastic Four golf hole experience with the Buy Golf for Half Bogey Boys.
We're playing in Miamisburg at the classic Arthur Hills designed Pipestone Golf Club. Pipestone is one of the most popular courses in the Miami Valley, and it's got to be one of the best maintained, too. I mean, it's a beautiful golf course. We're at the tee on the second hole. Hole number 2 is a long par 5 and Pipestone's most difficult hole. The fairway slopes severely right to left, and there's water down the entire left side, too. I bang my way up the fairway somehow, staying out of the water, and 4 shots later, I finally see the green. It's a sunken green that slopes back to front. Keep the ball in front of the hole, I try to tell myself as I launch my next shot toward the green. Miraculously, I land 3 feet in front of the hole and put it in for my bogey. That was a real test of my game. I tell you what, you should get your pals together, book a tee time, and come out and play Pipestone. Stay tuned for more Fantastic Four golf hole experiences. See you at the next hole.
Visit buygolfforhalf.com for half-price golf packages from Pipestone and other great local golf courses around the Miami Valley.
Making it easier for you to get the frickin' chicken. Remember Frickers.com. That puts you in touch with everything you crave. Frickin' chicken wings, burgers, ribs, salads, wraps, everything you crave. Should you crave an ice-cold domestic draft beer? Join us and dine in. We have a 48-ounce personal pitcher for only $6. Dine in, carry out, delivery, and now order online at Frickers.com. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is the home to order online at Frickers.com.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I've had CertaPro painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Contractors, use the right equipment for your project and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. No storage, no maintenance, no hassle. 14 Arts locations and online at artsrental.com. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-285-4954. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-285-4954. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-285-4954. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-285-4954. 800-285-4954.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
So you want to talk about outliers? Those guys are outliers. You're lucky that this thing's separating us. That's all I got to say. For facts, though. I got your facts right here.
Listen, stream, and now watch. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook to follow along. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, then we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. I popped the blood pressure pill during the break, so we are good to go. We
feeling better?
I'm feeling much better. All right. Let's do a little of our top 5, bottom 5. Let's get a little music bed underneath. Let's soup this thing up a little bit. Let's act like, we know what the hell we're doing around here, Let's keep the success of the show going. That's all that matters right now. All right, so Kev, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
We're going to start. Do you want to start with your top 5 or your bottom 5? Right now, if you're just tuning in, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Every week, we give you our top 5 NFL teams, our bottom 5 NFL teams. And, of course, it could change from week to week after the final results. And ours have shifted, a couple teams here and there. Bottom 5, top 5, who you start with?
Let's start with the trash.
All right, so the bottom 5 for Kev Nash. Here you go.
All right, 28, Jacksonville Jaguars. Welcome to the party. I tried not to put you guys in the bottom 5 for the longest because I'm a huge fan of your quarterback, the mustache, the jorts, the cool bandana. Just not getting it done. Y'all losing too many games. Get ready for a high draft pick with Jacksonville. Number 29, 0-5, Atlanta Falcons. So much talent on offense. No talent on defense. End up getting your head coach fired. You guys have not won a game yet with all that talent. You should be ashamed of yourself. And perfectly honest, y'all should be higher on my list, but y'all stay at 29. 30, the Washington football team. You benched Dwayne Haskins. Matter of fact, you didn't even bench him. You told him to go home. Then Allen gets hurt. Then you bring in the dude with the snapped off leg from 3 years ago. Still didn't work. You guys are at 30 and easily 31. The Giants, definitely easy. The worst team in the league, the New York Football Jets. Just cut my guy Le'Veon Bell. Maybe he'll come back to the Steelers. Maybe he'll go to the Bears. Probably end up with the Patriots. It is what it is. That's the trash of the league.
I still think Le'Veon goes back to your Steelers.
Come on down.
If they want to win.
Come on down. They've been winning.
No,
they've been winning.
They've been playoff runs, Super Bowls, all the things that the Steelers are made of.
Yeah, he was there before we didn't go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. That's because you have an average coach. I can't do it. I can't. I know Tomlin's good, but I still think he's a little overrated. But he's good. He's good.
Never had a losing season.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's go to Kevin Nash's top 5. It's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
No, honestly, no. I'm still waiting to see a little bit more from my Pittsburgh Steelers. So at 5, still got the MVP and the Ravens at number 5. New to the top 5, the Tennessee Titans. They are all the way at number 4. That dominant performance last night over a previously unbeaten Buffalo Bills team. Defense caused the turnovers. The run game powerful, and your favorite quarterback, Tannehill, throwing jump balls to A.J. Brown. Looking good out there. Looking good, Tennessee. Number 3, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. A great comeback victory on Sunday Night Football. 95 yards away from a touchdown victory with a minute 30 to go in the rain. Russell Wilson gets it done there at number 3. And the champs, there's a penalty for losing. You were number 1, but you took a L to the Raiders. So you fall to number 2. You're still the champs. You're still outstanding on offense. Nobody's going undefeated in the NFL. It's big boy football. But number 1 this week.
A new number 1.
New number 1, man. Green Bay Packers, man. Shouts out to Aaron Rodgers, man. Getting it done. And the reason they're getting it done on offense, but they have a superior defense. Defense still means something. You got to be able to stop people. And the Packers can get some stops here and there.
All right, and that is Kev Nash's top 5 and his bottom 5. And look, I like Green Bay. I'm just a little weary. I mean, look, they played the Vikings, the Lions, Saints, and Falcons. We've been doing that a lot. Have you noticed? Is this the worst that the NFL has been from a talented team? Not talent. There's talent all over the place in the league, but from a team standpoint, there's a lot of bad football this year. I don't know if it's COVID, because of the off season and being kind of wonky. There's a lot of bad teams in the National Football League this year. I mean, the NFC East, that's bad.
They weren't good last year, though.
But the Eagles that was because of injuries for the Eagles, and the Cowboys underachieved. I wouldn't put it there. I mean, you have the Giants and Washington
the
coming off years were drafted.
Cowboys are still underperforming.
Oh, they're performing the way they're supposed to right now.
The Washington football team. And, I mean, I guess the only other team in there, Philly, should be playing better. We expected them to be playing better, but I just don't think that division is that good. I think that the Cowboys.
I'm not arguing. You're having an argument that doesn't exist. No, I never said that was. I just it does say how bad the NFC East is. They're like, I just don't think they're that good.
I don't think they were good last year.
I didn't say they were good last year. The big argument about last year was the fact that they were going to have a team under 500 potentially hosting, or a team that was like Dallas if they would have made it at 8-8, and I think Philly did.
Yeah.
They hosted a playoff game. They hosted Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, as far as that's concerned. So either way, but no, I mean, look. So the whole NFC East is trash. The NFC North, the Lions trash. The Vikings trash. The Packers, Look, they're good. I have them in my top 5 every week. They're in my top 5 right now. The Bears, I don't believe in what they're doing. You don't make a quarterback change in the middle of the year when you're winning games. I mean, so to me, there's a lot of uncertainty there. But Nick Foles is a lot like Fitzpatrick, where it's like, okay, you never know what you're going to get from a week in, week out basis. They just got done beating the Buccaneers because Ron's team and their quarterback forgot how many, what down it was. And then you look at the AFC North, very bad Bengals team. The AFC East, the Patriots are actually better than we thought, but like the Dolphins aren't good. The Jets aren't good. The AFC South, Houston's not what we thought. Indianapolis, even at 3-2, I highly doubt Phillip Rivers is their quarterback for the rest of the year. Jacksonville's horrendous. Tennessee's on point with what they were doing last year. Denver, not good out of the AFC West. The Raiders are just an in-between team. I think they're not bad. They're not good. They're just in between. The Chargers are bad. The Cardinals, we thought they were going to be a hotter team than they are. They're just okay. They're improved. The Rams, not sold on what they've done so far, even though they are off to a hot start record-wise. The Niners, not as good as last year. And then Seattle, statistically, is the worst team Russell Wilson's ever played on, and they're 5-0. It's just a weird year. So to sum up, Kev Nash's top 5, the Packers number 1. Again, we're live on Facebook. Go to the Facebook page, search The Justin Kinner Show, and follow along there. But the Green Bay Packers number 1. Number 2 is the Kansas City Chiefs. 3, the Seahawks. 4, the stupid Titans. And number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. That's Kev Nash's top 5. In your bottom 5, one more time, the Jets, Giants, Washington, Atlanta, and the Jaguars. All right, so let's go to Mr. Kinner. Mr. Kinner.
Let's hear it. I always like to keep track of yours to see how many flip-flops you got.
I'm all about I'm like a fish out of water, baby. I live out of the water. My top 5, the Kansas City Chiefs come in at number 1, even with the loss. They're still the defending Super Bowl champions. I never expected them to go 16-0. They have a loss already. I think, it is what it is. They lost, but they're still the best team in the National Football League to me. I put Seattle up at number 2. I put Seattle up at number 2 right now because they're just getting the job done. They are 5-0, and they are being led by the MVP right now if the season ended today. And I've never been a huge Russell Wilson guy. I've never not liked him. Okay, he's hard to diss the guy. I just haven't been as high on him as most people have. But what he has done this year, I'm all about quarterbacks who do more with less. They don't sit there and make excuses about their bad offensive line, or they don't make excuses about how poorly coached they are. Baker, that's what drove me nuts. There was a lot of excuse making. No, you got to make lemonade, with the lemons you're given, and that's exactly what Russell Wilson does. The Packers come in at number 3, and you look at what the Packers have done again. Right now, they have the Buccaneers coming up. I'm all about what the Packers are doing when they beat the Buccaneers, because I do believe they will beat the Buccaneers. But when they beat the Buccaneers coming up, that'll be good enough for me to put them in that number 1 slot. I will leapfrog the Packers to number 1 when they beat the Bucs coming up this weekend. I have Baltimore at number 4. And then I'm all about the ties at number 5. I don't know why you're getting all upset. I mean, you're going to like
I knew you were going to do that.
Why?
I knew
You're going to like who I have at number 5.
Let's hear it.
It's Steelers / Buccaneers. It's a tie for me. Steelers/Buccaneers. And the Titans, I don't care if you go 16-0. I don't care if the Titans beat every team by 100. You will never be in the prestigious Justin Kinner top 5 list. You don't deserve it. The Titans don't deserve it. They are the leadership on that team is absolutely garbage.
I love the stiff arm.
The stiff arm that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like the stiff. I mean, I was like, I'm not watching it. Now, that's pretty good. I mean, the still shot where Norman is parallel. He's literally biased parallel with the field. That was absolutely unbelievable. And by the way, that was a good win for them last night. It pains me to say, but again, I'm sticking to my rule. You had a team that nearly blew it for everybody else in the NFL for selfish decisions. Not because, they got the Rona, so now we got to blame them. It's how they got it, and they literally almost ruined it. Postponed games. Absolutely atrocious. I will never put the Titans in my top 5. Any team that plays the Titans, I'm the biggest fan of that team. I hate the Titans, especially Ryan Tannehill. I hate Ryan Tannehill. We've got a quarterback, a leader, a day after September 29th. Hey, don't practice. Don't go out on the field together until we get things figured out. 24 hours later, calling around local Nashville high schools. Hi, can we practice? I'm not supposed to. Can you not tell anybody? Hi, I'm Ryan Tannehill. I know you've probably never heard of me, but I'm the quarterback for the Titans. I'm not the quarterback of the future. They're trying to figure out who they're going to put at quarterback moving forward. But I hate Ryan Tannehill. Then he goes and schedules the practice, and they nearly ruin it for everybody else. No. So one more time to sum up. Why are you mad? I put your Steelers in the top 5. You should be happy.
I am looking at that list. You literally have 4 teams that are undefeated below a team with a loss. Like, that's alarming to me.
Why?
And a team that just beat a previously undefeated team, bludgeoned them. Tennessee smoked the Bills last night.
And you know why the Bills didn't look as sharp? Hey, for one, keep in mind, of course the Titans look better. They had all that extra practice time, that illegal practice time, that illegal COVID practice time. Of course the Titans looked on their A game as far as that's concerned. And you don't think playing on a Tuesday night impacted the Bills? I think if that game's played on Sunday like it's supposed to, when they were a 7.5.
Tennessee played on Tuesday too.
According to Tennessee, they had to go out and play well. They couldn't go out and get embarrassed after they embarrassed themselves already.
Oh, my gosh.
You're welcome for putting the Steelers in the top 5.
Thank you.
That's all I needed to hear. And Ron, you're welcome as well. I threw it was a sympathy Buccaneers. By the end of the year, the Buccaneers, they'll be one of the favorites heading in. They're figures. They're good. They're good. They're defensively good. The Packers, it's the best defense that they would have faced. They've just faced 4 of the worst defenses in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers and that. So we'll see. They're going to be tested against the Bucs. I'm still picking the Packers over the Bucs when we get to our pick segment on tomorrow. So one more time, the Kenner top 5, Kansas City Chiefs, number 1. Number 2, the Seattle Seahawks. Number 3, the Packers. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens. And number 5, Steelers/Buccaneers. I'm a tie guy. I'm all about the tie.
Your bottom 5, please.
I'm like the Bengals. I'm all about the tie. Speaking of the Bengals in the bottom 5. The Bengals are in the bottom 5.
Oh, my God.
They are in the bottom 5. So number 32, I have the New York Jets. Number 31, I have the NFC East.
Y'all see what I got to deal with on a daily basis?
The NFC East.
He won't follow the rules, man.
I make up my own rules. The NFC East. It's a tie. I'm all about the ties. So rather than writing the NFC East, the NFC East is a joke. So the Jets are the worst team in the National Football League, in my opinion. Number 31, my bottom 5, the NFC East, the entire conference, the NFC East. The Atlanta Falcons have not won a game, coming in at number 30. How about this, though? I did find out, I was listening to some shows throughout the day, Matt Ryan being rumored to go to the 49ers next year. Shanahan, that's when Matt Ryan had his MVP year under Shanahan. I kind of like that. I like that location.
You're a big Jimmy G guy, right?
Porn star Jimmy, absolutely.
Yeah, get him up out of here. Get him up out the paint.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe even go Tennessee and address their quarterback issues. Number 29, the Detroit Lions. And number 28, the Cincinnati Bengals. And I don't feel bad about putting the Bengals there. They are bad. Joe Burrow's not bad, but they are bad. They are really bad.
Okay.
Did you watch them against the Ravens? They are really, really bad.
Hey, they got bludgeoned by the Ravens, but the Ravens also beat the crap out of the Browns. And also, how can you have the Bengals in your top 5 and not Jacksonville, who they beat and who they have a better record than?
Because I already put a whole conference in. I didn't have time to put a slash.
Justin Kinner Bottom five, man.
It's the Justin Kinner bottom five. And I'm afraid to check the comments. That's all. And by the way, Schrody talking about, he's defending Tannehill, by the way. It's making me sick. Tyler Schrody says, that is being a good leader. There's no proof that anyone got it at that price. You just keep telling, look, that's a good leader. Breaking the rules, that's being a good leader? How's that being a good leader? Tannehill, top 5 QB in the league. Okay, if you take out all the good ones and then create a top 5 out of the bad ones remaining, okay. And then he said, jealous Browns fan as usual. Well, we'll see. Not jealous. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kevin Nash. When we come back, don't go anywhere. 457-946, but we'll take your calls. This guy.
Oh, look, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We've been expecting you. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ohio, wake up to what our state lawmakers are doing. The majority focuses on the former speaker's alleged bribery, virtually ignoring how COVID-19 impacts our jobs, health, schools, and business, even cutting funds for schools and healthcare while keeping tax breaks for millionaires. We can do better. I'm a problem solver who will fight for working families. My name is Erin Rosiello, candidate for Ohio State House District 62, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Erin Rosiello, at your service.
When I say Central Ohio's premier link-style golf course, what do you think of? It should be Windy Knoll Golf Club in Springfield. What used to be a world-class horse farm is now a stunning link-style golf course, complete with full-size steel horse sculptures and black rail fencing all around the course. And it's open to the public. Windy Knoll offers a challenge to golfers of all levels. Outstanding course conditions add to a truly exceptional golf experience. Get your friends together and come out and play at Windy Knoll Golf Club in Springfield.
It's the big building material and home improvement auction online in Worcester, Ohio at the Wayne County Fairgrounds. Kitchens, flooring, doors, trim, plumbing, lighting, tools, and unclaimed freight online at pbauctions.com. Bidding has begun, and it all ends Thursday at 12 noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid in the Wayne County Fairgrounds online auction. Live previews Wednesday and Thursday, and the auction ends starting at 12 noon Thursday. So go to pbauctions.com, and we'll see you online at the auction.
I saved big money with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, so I finally bought that new set of golf clubs. Watch out, Fairway. Here I come.
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big with Progressive, but your other expenses won't just disappear. Are those clubs going to help you when the hot water heater dies? Also, it sounds like your money is better spent on golf lessons.
Time to go shoot the course record.
No, but maybe time for a reality check. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Where is your haircut gone? We know you don't get out as much. You don't drive by your regular Sport Clips and pop in for that MVP haircut experience that is so much more than a haircut. But isn't it worth getting out for? For that legendary hot steam towel for your face, massaging shampoo that makes you melt into your seat. Oh man, you remember that, right? We found your haircut. It's right where you left it. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
Have you played Turtle Creek Golf Course yet? Formerly Greenville Country Club, Turtle Creek has local, state, and national recognition for excellence. They also have some world-class facilities, like the famous Thirsty Turtle Lounge, a full-service restaurant and bar with seating for up to 200 guests. Come try the Turtle's famous chicken wings, or Fish Fridays, Steak Saturdays, or Sunday brunch. Learn more at www.turtlecreekon36.com. Turtle Creek Golf Course and the Thirsty Turtle Lounge. Great food, great golf, and a great experience.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. No-touch freight, home daily lanes. Earn up to $270 per day, $2,000 sign-on bonus. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Apply online, CordellTransportation.com.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Find your style with Patriot Lighting ceiling fans. Explore a wide variety of different styles and finishes of ceiling fans. You'll be sure to find the right one for your home. All Patriot Lighting ceiling fans are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through October 17th. Savings are mail and rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome to Pipestone Golf Club with a 4-star rating from Golf Digest and recognized as the best course to play. Pipestone is a favorite in the Miami Valley. The Arthur Hills design masterpiece is carved into the sweeping foothills and ancient oaks of southwestern Ohio. The course provides a quality challenge to golfers of all levels, and everyone is welcome. Be sure to call for a tee time, then bring your friends and play America's greatest game on a golf course that truly sets itself apart. Pipestone, a great golf experience.
Oktoberfest at Milano's has begun. We're serving our once-a-year favorites like schnitzel sandwiches and German pizza. Get it to go or stay for the games with NFL Sunday Ticket. See you at Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps for big screen football.
Give your sweetie the priceless gold box this year for Sweetest Day, or get a special pack box of those favorite pieces. Don't wait until the last minute. Sweetest Day is October 17th, so come and visit us. Shop online at EstherPrice.com or contact any of the Esther Price Candy's 7 locations to place a curbside order for pickup. It only takes a minute to make that special someone smile when they see their gold box of their favorites. So don't forget and place your order today.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13 valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on 1410 ESPN Radio. How about Connor Bazelak and his performance over the weekend in Missouri's win over LSU? Missouri's 1-2 on the season, but Connor Bazelak, former Alter Knight, 29-34 for 406 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then amazing, he has a QBR of 91. Like, don't you think it should be a little bit? You threw for 406 yards. You only had 5 incomplete passes. You completed 29-34, had a QBR 91, but 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, average yards about 11 yards a throw. Good for him.
Nice.
I didn't know Ulster quarterbacks knew how to throw a football, and apparently I was wrong as far as that. And that's, just that old school style. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, tell you what, obviously we know the rich history of talent that's come out of Ulster. I'm excited to see CJ Hicks. I've been following his journey and his path to Ohio State. But real quick, with that, Connor Bazelak was named the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback of the Week.
Beat the defending champs, man. I don't care if all their 22 starters from last season are in the NFL or not playing. They still the champs. So get a win over the champs. That's outstanding.
Yes, it is. And again, if you're just tuning in, it is the Justin Kinner Show. And who we got on? We got Ron.
Ron.
Let's go to the Ron. The Ron, how are you, sir? Is it 4 o'clock? Is it 5 o'clock? Is it 6? Yeah. What time? I can't tell.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I got me a cool one.
There you go, Ron. It's the coolest thing I've heard you say. How are you?
Hey, here's another cool thing. Go Browns.
Go. Oh, go. Nothing else after it, huh? I didn't react. Okay, cool. All right, I'll be nice. You be nice. I'll be nice. How about that?
Okay, yeah. I mean, we can have a truce, But I'm saying don't overlook that Green Bay game because, like I commented, you commented, they've got wins over teams that ain't even had a win. Okay, they beat the Saints, who don't look right. They just even with Michael Thomas.
Real quick, you mean the Saints team that the Buccaneers lost to?
Well, opening day, no preseason. Okay, let's get that.
That's a veteran quarterback that's played for 20 years. He don't need no preseason.
Well, I thought you was going to be nice, man. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is they got Chris Godwin and Fournette back in practice, so they might be starting to come to full strength. And if they do, look out! I'm telling you. And that defense is the number one run defense. You can't run on that team, and they're going to make him one-dimensional. And they're going to make him throw, and he's pretty good at it. But I'm just wondering if they're going to stick the dogs on him because Todd Bowles he likes to do the power rush, So,
oh no, and look, I'm going to say this nicely, but you talk about how the Packers haven't played anybody or beaten anybody. I mean, I'm looking at the Buccaneers schedule right now. You have a win over the Panthers, bad team, a win over the Broncos, bad team, a win over the Chargers, bad team, and the only two teams with a winning record that the Buccaneers have played, they have losses again. They lost to the Saints and they've lost to the Bears. And by the way, I don't know how they lost to the Bears. That it is what it is. You're always going to have one of those games. You're always going to look back at the season and say, oh, yeah, we lost a game that we shouldn't have, but we also won a game we shouldn't have. But that's why there's so many bad teams in the NFL right now that I don't always like hanging on the excuse of, well, they haven't beaten anybody. This isn't college football where that matters. In the NFL, the total wins matter at this point. It's tough even beating the bad teams in the NFL.
Well, I'm not going to say you're wrong because I know you don't like people telling you.
Oh, I'm not wrong, Ron. I'm never wrong.
But, hey,
I'm not wrong. How could I be wrong there? You just got done. Now I'm not going to be nice. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about with you, Ron. Ron, you just got done saying that the Packers can't be good because they haven't played anybody. And I just got done saying that the two teams that you have played that are somebody, you lost to them, and the wins you have are against bad teams. That's your logic.
Okay, here's where you're wrong, Mr. Kenner.
Okay.
The Panthers are 3-2.
Okay.
So that's
where are the Panthers going? Are they? You think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl team?
I didn't say that. I just said they have a winning record. So, and I just wanted to tell you that my team's starting to get healthy. I know we lost our top tight end, but we got backups, and that defense is something to look at. And I wouldn't put it past them. Plus, the Buccaneers, when they play at home, it's right now. I talk to my dad daily, and he said it's been in the 90s. Okay, so you got that heat down there. Okay, that humidity, and the Bucs bench is on the shade side. Okay, and whenever they play a home team in that kind of weather, they wear the home team can call the jersey. They wear the white. Pack will be wearing that heavy green. Some of them big players from up north here, they're going to go down there and they're going to be getting IVs, dehydrated. It's kind of like a cold team or a warm team coming up north and playing. So you got that vice versa thing. But I'm just telling you, it's going to be. It's going to be a good game. And plus the Bucs have had extra time to prepare for this. They played last Thursday. So anyway, your game will be a good one. I'm hoping it'll be a tie like last year. Okay.
It was 2 years ago.
Whatever. I'm not gonna. I like Kevin. I don't want to get him mad. But
it's all good, man.
Trying to make you nice.
It's difficult to make me nice, Ron, and you're so mean all the time. I can't just expect me just to turn my meanness off just because you decided to one day.
Anyway, the only thing that Browns got that's not going to happen for them is every team you root for ended up falling in the tank. Okay, Dallas looks like they're
Browns are 4-1.
Curse of the Kenner.
The Lakers just won a championship.
The curse of the
root for the Lakers.
I root for LeBron. LeBron, the best player of all time. Just won his fourth. 3 different teams.
Well, whatever the bandwagon's rolling, I know you're jumping on it. So anyway, Justin, it was good today. Thanks for giving my team a compliment.
I put them in my top 5. We just sum up all of our back and forth. I put them in my top 5.
I think they will right the ship. I mean, like I heard the interview with the Arians. He said, Tom chewing the team out, offensive line, that saved me time from going over there because I was going to do it first. So, Arians got his back. He said, I'm going to let Tom be Tom. So I look for that. All right, man. Hey, adios and good luck. And I might come out there your first. Hey, when you guys going to do Moeller again?
We're doing Frickers 741 Sunday, October 25th at 11:30. So that's to answer that. But hey, we're out of time. Ron, I appreciate it. Talk to you later. 457-9464. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kevin Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Yes, as we close things out, by the way, this Monday from noon to 1. I mean, I can't believe it. So we're going to have college football this Saturday, Georgia and Alabama. What a game. What a game. That is going to be big time. And I think that is a perfect segue week into the Big Ten coming back. Ohio State will kick off a week from Saturday. We will have the Ohio State season kickoff show this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. to noon. So we are excited about that. That's really going to help kind of get everyone, get the juices going. Again, Ohio State kicks off a week from Saturday. They welcome in Nebraska. We're looking forward to that. So on Monday, College Football Hall of Famer, former Buckeye Keith Byers will be live at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Inglewood from noon to 1 for his show. He's going to arrive early. If you want to meet Keith, head out to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Inglewood this Monday. He'll be talking plenty of Buckeyes, and he's super pumped. And I also want to give him a happy birthday shout out. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Keith Byers. You can see Keith Byers this Monday. He'll be taking the show live out on the road from noon to 1 at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Inglewood. That wraps it up for us. Have a great night, everybody. We'll do this again tomorrow, week 6. I mean, last night, Tuesday night football because the Titans are morons. But week 6 kicks off tomorrow. What you got this song again, huh? The Diamonds track. I like it. Mirror, 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 mirror. Make it rain.
See, you said put your hands up.
Never mind. You set me up to say so. I've been, Freddie yelled at people today. I got called mean. I thought you were going to be mean. Put your hands up. Folks, have a good night. We'll do it again tomorrow. Until tomorrow, this has been the Justin Kinner Show with Kevin Nash on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM.